Hello, Sumo fans.
Hello, hello.
It has been quite a roller coaster due to that September ending, huh?
Oh, man. November itself has a lot of expectations on it.
It sure does, which is perfect for an end-of-the-year tournament, right? Like, we all have these high hopes around November of who's going to emerge, who's going to be the new guy, who's going to, close out the year with the most wins. Daieisho has an opportunity to do that.
He does.
So, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here who it's okay, now's your last chance to make it right before the new year. And there's a lot of people who are coming here for the first time and have their chance to make a first impression.
Yeah, there was quite a few promotion situation.
That's
more than I expected.
More than I thought was possible.
Yeah, so there's a changing of the guard, as they say. So let's start right away with Terunofuji. That's a big topic for changing of the guard right there. Didn't compete in the last tournament. What I find very interesting is that he's just at a point where everybody knows he's almost done and he's only hanging around because there's nobody else to take the spot. And he's just openly talking about, yeah, my hip hurts. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I might do some Yokozuna ceremonies until somebody else takes the job.
It's the latest news is a very coy, I'm training for it and I wouldn't be training for it unless I wanted to go, but I don't know. And
it's so lame.
It's the song and dance. The big question is, do you think it's even in the cards, or is this just a big song and dance?
It really feels like a big song and dance.
I don't think we'll see him.
No.
I feel like the next time he shows up, it's gonna be all or nothing for him.
Yeah.
And it does seem that he's at least fighting people.
Yeah, and he's doing what looks like the farewell tour. He's going on the tour and he's like lending his chest and he's talking to the fans. It's basically like, hey, enjoy me while you can because my foot is out the door. I'm just doing my thing, helping everybody out to have a symbol. Like, he's the symbol of sumo, but he's not a wrestler anymore. No. It's like it's already done.
It feels that he's going through the motions almost, which is a weird thing to say about a Yokozuna.
And it's really weird because prior to him, like, Hakuho kept it very close to the chest. Like, his retirement seemed like out of nowhere, even though, obviously it had been coming. But Terunofuji's just like, yeah, can you guys help me out? Get me somebody. I'll stick around, I guess.
Yeah, I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love for him to show up on November. There's a lot of people he can humble.
Oh, yeah.
I expect January's going to be it, though.
I suspect that, too. He's talking about his hip still hurting right now. So I think give it another couple months. I think he'll compete in January, and I think he'll retire at the end or just do what he's doing. Because the Sumo Association told him, you can stay out as long as you want.
Yeah, very interesting that they're kids' gloves with him. Now, we can talk for the God knows how many times about the Hakuho effect on everybody, but a lot of them is like, well, he's making an effort, he's showing up on the tour, he's doing what he can with what he's got, and just like, keep doing that good spirit. And I'm sitting on like,
what happened to you guys?
Oh man, you guys got no teeth.
Well, I think what it is they know the situation they're in.
I think
and if they keep chasing people away like Ichinojo, that whole thing, then there's not going to be anybody to fight. So I think now they're kind of in a bad position where they just have to let it be, because it may be a very long time before there is a replacement for Terunofuji. I hope not.
Could not be.
So let's get into that conversation, because this is the talk of the internet. Mr. Takakeisho. So he got his 11-4. When to start the September tournament, I didn't even have him in the Yusho race. He ends up winning the whole thing. Controversy at the end. We talked that to death. So we're not going to talk about Henkas anymore. However, now they have decided that he is a Yokozuna candidate. If they had had many more options, they might not have done that. But I think they're pretty desperate. Like, they want Takakeisho to just take the role so Terunofuji can retire.
Basically. What I will say is, if it's another September fluke, they're not giving it to him, even if he gets the Yusho.
Right, it doesn't look good.
It does. So I feel like they're saying if you do something proper, we're just going to let it slide.
Right. Like, just give us something so
Yeah.
we can give it to you. And, you know, sort of the interesting thing is watching the Chris Sumo videos. You know, Takakeisho's been pretty open, saying things like, I want to prove to people that I deserve the role.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure all the chatter is not lost on him. And I think, you know, I don't think it's going to be repeated. I could be wrong, but I don't think Takakeisho wants to go down the path of being the Hanka guy. Some people are never going to get over it, but whatever. You know, he's starting fresh. I'm starting fresh. I am going to enjoy this moment of the excitement of, oh, can he do it? Can he become Yokozuna? Because as soon as the tournament starts, all bets are off. And in particular, you know, Takakeisho also said this in his interviews. He's gotten hurt every single time that he's tried to get Yokozuna. And he said basically a Yokozuna needs to be able to not get hurt.
So I got this up here, and November's a strong month. And so if you go, here's November, 12-3. Here's another 12-3 in November. And here's a 13-2 in November.
My goodness.
So, and this has been the pattern.
Right.
Is that November he does really, really well. We go into January and then something horrible happens to him.
Yeah.
So for him to go into November saying, if you win it, you get it. This is probably his best chance.
And it's funny because we always talk about, like, this is his best chance. But no, this is really his best chance.
I would also say this is probably his last chance.
This is his last chance. And I think that's why that Hanka happened when it did. I think that he knew. He knows.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, if he gets Yokozuna now, and this is not a scenario anybody wants, but if he gets Yokozuna now, he's not going to have the same pressure and get hurt in January, is the hope. But if he were to, he'd have the ability to kind of take some time off.
Mm-hmm.
Not what we want. We want a Yokozuna like we used to have. However, what we have now is Terunofuji, who isn't going to compete. So I think people should at least root for Takakeisho in the intermediate, but whatever. Speaking of which, I want to just touch on one topic because we've Hanka conversation to death, and it's been Hanka'd all over the internet, so who cares about the Hanka at this moment? But there was a comment that came up that I thought was a little fascinating, which is, if the Ozeki, and we'll say any Ozeki, but right now particularly Takakeisho, were to continue to Hanka, would that ruin Sumo? And I just think that's a stretch. I don't think it would ruin Sumo. I think there is a natural eliminator of it. If you start to become predictable with the Hanka, someone will punish you for it, and then it's just not going to work anymore. So I don't think he can continue to Hanka. But B, Sumo needs a bad guy. It's been a while.
We don't have a real big heel.
We don't. We've had Asashoryu. We've had moments where Hakuho was the good guy, then the heel. I think people need a bad guy, either to root against or to root for. I'm not usually a fan of the bad guy, but I guess I have no choice now because he's the bad guy. This is who people have deemed as the bad guy. And the next time he fights Atami Fuji, that's going to bring electricity to Sumo. If anything, I'm not saying I like the Hanka or want it to keep coming back, but I think this might be a good thing for Sumo because we need rivalries. We need intensity. We don't need wishy-washy, who cares sumo wrestlers. We need guys to stand out. So I think it actually is going to turn out to be pretty exciting, and it will not ruin sumo.
Worth noting that Atami Fuji is 8 West, so the only time they're actually going to be fighting each other is either an elimination bout during regulation or another playoff bout.
Which, boy, how exciting would that be?
That would be very exciting.
We never get things that good, but I can dream.
Yeah. Well, from what I can tell, people have been hanking for Yokozuna and Ozeki and Sakiwake and Kamasubi all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just that this one put such a bad taste in certain people's mouths.
Because Atami Fuji is a very likable guy, and he is a new guy, and the thought of him winning is just so exciting that I guess I understand it. I understand why you'd be like, this guy is terrible.
It's sort of it's this. it's not the same thing, but I relate it to when, like, let's say you watch the Super Bowl and then there's like a flag on a play that totally wasn't a flag, but then it changes the game. People hate it when refs decide the game.
Yep.
So, and again, it's sort of little apples to oranges, but I get that same impression.
It's very similar. That
people saw, like, here's the way it's supposed to work, and it didn't work that way. And now it's the same thing. Now, this is a conversation that will happen. Is this like, how much power the ref's going to have?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's sort of the same vein of the conversation.
Right. It's like, we really just want the straight up mano a mano.
Exactly.
Best man win, and then we can move on. But with that said, I think there'd still be people that would hate Takakeisho if he won fair and square because, like I said, you need a bad guy.
He's always been divisive.
He's always been a divisive guy his entire career.
Yeah. Here comes something that's divisive, even if a goody two shoes did it.
Yeah, you might like turn on a goody two shoes over a move like this.
And so to somebody who's already in the love him or hate him camp, like, and then you're gonna really hate him.
Exactly. So bring on the hate, bring on the passion. Let's have an awesome November.
Yeah,
I'm all about it.
All eyes on him,
and so he knows it.
This is the one concern, is that he keeps mentioning that, and we keep seeing this. Like, we didn't need him to say it, but every time he gets to this point, he effectively removes himself by overextending, by pushing too hard.
And at least his mind now, with him saying it, it makes me think that he's trying something new, and something new does need to happen if anything's going to change for him. Mm-hmm. My gut doesn't feel great about it. I've been burned so many times since Takayasu effect. But like I said, before the tournament starts, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy this moment of peace and happiness. And then you're going to have to tell me every single match, like whether I can watch it or not, because I'm going to be in agonizing pain.
The trial run, I think, worked well on that.
It did. I think we need to continue with that.
Okay. I'm going to distinctly remember.
Yes. And you know what? You can even, let's make it more interesting. You can tell me if he's a heel in a match. You can say, okay to watch, heel. And then I'll know, like, oh, okay. Because I don't even care about getting spoiled anymore. I need to just know that everything's okay. So, we're going to move on from Takakeisho. We have a whole list of guys that can make this interesting. Kirishima. So, 9-6, clears the Kataban issues, shows his Ozeki pride. He wants to go higher. He's been talking about it before he was even Ozeki. But already, looking at the Chris Sumo reports, hurt his back during the tour. I don't know if we're going to have another chronic injury situation with Kirishima or if it was just a minor thing, because everybody's hurt all the time.
Maybe. That's my issue with a couple other people on this list, is that they're just too hurt for their own good. Something that I was realizing when I was going through, this is only his third basho at Ozeki. And like, everybody's already just moved past him. I have mentally. And
yeah.
And you have to sit back. It's like his first tournament, he got injured. And so the second one in September, he was getting off of being injured, had Katoban, the risk of just getting immediately demoted, and he gets a 9-6. All that pressure on him. Everybody's talking about Hoshoryu. He's the new Shinozeki. Everybody already he's yesterday's news.
It's nuts, isn't it?
And I'm like, guys, it's still Kirishima.
Right, he's brand new.
And so once he works through the nerves, once his steady stoic stuff happens, I'm like, he's going to get it. Now this, like you said, the injuries, can you hold it together? Is it a fluke? Is it chronic? That's going to play itself out. But I feel like at least I am looking past him a little bit, which is a very bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, he channels the whole Kakuryu vibe where Kakuryu didn't stand out that much, and all of a sudden he would win a tournament and he'd beat Hakuho, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's right.
He's really good, isn't he?
Right, so Kirishima has a sort of quiet strength that gets overshadowed by crazy people like Hoshoryu.
And his the 9 wins, and the 6 losses he has to work on. But again, the nerves, the Katoban.
Right, he had a lot
going on, and still new, still figuring out Ozeki. people be years in Ozeki and they don't figure it out.
Exactly. So I do agree with you that he's getting overshadowed a little, but also like give him some space. He's doing good.
I think he's fine. And again, clearing that Kadoban, I feel is such a difference, because at that point, like, you can go forward. Well,
it gives him an opportunity right away to see that it's not the end of the world if you don't, win.
Yeah, and
you can overcome.
If he does get another 9-6, like, all he needs to do is get one win off of Takakeisho, one win off of Hoshoryu.
Yeah, he can hold an Ozeki now. Now it's not, I'm stuck at Sekiwake. Am I ever going to ascend? He knows what he needs for Yokozuna. It's very clear. 2 Yusho wins. In the meantime, put your 8 and 6s together, or put your 8 and 5s together, your 9 and 6s together, and just kind of coast until you, like you said, just gain that extra win. Gain that extra win until you are a Yusho winner consistently.
That's what got him to Ozeki, and I feel like that's what's going to get him.
He's a long game guy.
He's a long game guy, so don't worry about him. And sort of the way he sort of just everything slowly clicked together, and then there's no stopping him. Like, wait for that click. This is what I'm going to be watching on him for November. If he just casually does like a 10-5 and 11-4, even if he doesn't win the Yusho, if he's showing like he's an Ozeki, then he's not going to be Ozeki for much longer.
And the crazy thing is, let's just say he wins the tournament, then all of a sudden he's a Yokozuna contender.
Yeah.
It's that quick.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about Ozeki, isn't it?
It's just, you finger quotes just have to win the Yusho.
I know. Trust me, I'm aware.
Well, it is paradoxical, because for an Ozeki, like, if you are Ozeki material, that kind of a guy, winning a Yusho shouldn't be an issue.
Look at Terunofuji. It was not an issue for him until
he was not Ozeki for long.
No, it's like, I'm Ozeki. Okay, let me just win 4 in a row.
Yeah. So that is the Ozeki Kirishima I know is waiting for us somewhere.
Yes, agreed.
Hope fix your back, but then come back.
Yes.
Come back to
I'm nervous. Okay, everybody makes me nervous.
Yes. Well, there's been a lot of injuries and a lot of people disappointments, sadness. We're gonna talk about Daieisho. He's
sadness.
Together, we're gonna talk about Asanoyama. That's sadness.
Wow, that's like sadness on top of sadness.
Yeah.
That guy.
We have every reason to hear, he had to pull out of the Jungyo because of X, and we're like,
that's it, it's over.
Yeah. We throw our hands up in the air in defeat, which is what you just did to me, and I agree with you. I just couldn't. My hands were underneath the desk, so I couldn't actually raise them up as well.
Well, John, you have to stay positive.
I'll do that.
You are the positive one in this group, okay? So we got to keep it. We got to keep it going.
Positive.
That's
keep
right.
It positive. And well, November, it's sort of like it's. You do it now, or you wait till the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. And since we're at the end of the year, let's finish off strong.
Let's do it strong.
Speaking of strong, we have Hoshoryu. Ozeki 2 West maintains the same rank because there's nowhere else to go. 8-7. Just avoids his Kadoban.
Last
day, guts it out. He couldn't have been too happy with that, and Angry Hoshoryu was always a very exciting Hoshoryu.
I was expecting Kadoban, so for me, an 8-7 is above average. I agree with you. There's no way he's going to be happy with an 8-7 on any day anymore.
Right. He's like, I'm Ozeki. I'm going to do my thing. I am the Ozeki. Yeah. I am going to go to Yokozuna. There's no shortage of confidence in this man. But it's just getting harder and harder for everybody, because the top guys are so thinned out. So, like, you can't get hurt. You can't have an off day. You got to beat everybody you're supposed to beat. And I think Hoshoryu might get in his head a little bit. And there's a little bit of... He's got a risky style of sumo in ways. Because he's got so many moves. He's not the guy who's just going to blast you out or it's over. He's not the guy that once he's got the belt grip, you're done. He's the guy that's going to do every little thing that needs to be done, and sometimes you lose.
A little bit. So him and Kirishima are in a similar spot right now, in that both of them really want to get higher, but they need to sort of figure this pressure thing out. So for Hoshoryu, this is like wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah.
And that he's going to acclimate, he's going to grow hunger, grow hungrier, and then he's going to ascend.
Which, like Kirishima, is the same way we saw him come up. He was down at the bottom. He kind of took his time, but then once he started figuring it out, then he started going up.
So I think he's still in the figuring it out phase. Fresh in Ozeki. Yeah. Just barely scraped
the freshest of Ozeki.
And so between Kirishima, Takakeisho, and a slew of other people we're going to talk about, I do not think November is going to be his basho.
Okay.
I think he's going to keep clearing Kadoban. Hey, hopefully. I want him to clear Kadoban.
Yes.
He better. But I think 2024 is the year of Hoshoryu. I think starting in January, maybe March, that's where we're going to see something a little different out of him.
Okay.
A little good, a little strong. Now, please, for the love of the Shinto deities who watch over Sumo, prove me wrong.
Right. I mean, it'd be nice to be wrong.
I'm seeing about 3 tournaments of Hoshoryu getting his footing, and then this time next year, give him a rope.
I actually really agree with you on this. I feel like Hoshoryu does need to take his time, but he'll do it. I have no doubt in my mind that he'll become Yokozuna.
Yeah, and a lot of it is the fact that he got that 8-7 again on that Hokuseiho. No. I'm gonna crush you out. I'm gonna do it my way. Again, and this is always what we've been talking about when we see Takakeisho. And it's just like there's that Ozeki resolve, and you don't acquire it.
You just have it.
You have it.
Right.
It's there, and you just pick it up.
Right. If you don't have it, then you don't last in the position very long.
Yep. And this is what we saw out of Asanoyama.
Yes.
Now we'll talk about him in a little bit. So anyway, Hoshoryu, I would say love to see a cup out of him. I think this is a very prime cup for an Ozeki in November.
Yes. I mean, who knows? Maybe Hoshoryu is going to make November his tournament.
He could.
There's something about November,
Yeah. I mean, Hoshoryu, right now, the biggest person that Hoshoryu has to fight is Hoshoryu.
Yes, and that's been the case for him for quite some time. So
and tell Hoshoryu to get off Twitter, but
yeah, he's probably gonna show up at the tournament.
Oh God, he is.
He's gonna be in the front row, and he's gonna be like, Hoshoryu's like, get out of here. Actually, there was a comment in one of the Chris Sumo videos about Hoshoryu was facing Oho. And he was like, yeah, I know. Asashoryu versus Taiho. We've been hearing this our whole lives. We came up together, And I just found that so funny. It's like he's just brushing it off now. It's no big deal now.
Well, he's proven himself.
Exactly.
Like earlier on when he was lower rank and file, barely scraping by, he had to sort of take that on the chin. But now he's Ozeki.
It's kind of fun to see Ozeki Hoshoryu already.
I like it.
It's where he belongs. So next we have could have been Ozeki, Daieisho, Sekiwake Wani, same rank, 10-5, which is great, but he's in the stuck zone.
He's stuck.
His Ozeki bid is done, right?
If he gets a Zensho Yusho or a 14-1, he's Ozeki.
Okay.
So he has never gotten that score before, so there's no real precedent.
Right, it would take some sort of miracle.
It's like it's mathematically possible, but realistically, he's going to take that 10-5 and whatever he does in November, and go into January with a proper bid.
Pretty sure he's battling injuries as well, as so many are. But it threw his whole game off. Like right at the end of that tournament, like he just kind of threw it away.
He did have a rib injury, I believe,
which you can't breathe with a rib injury.
And so a lot of the tail end of September was him just gutting it out.
Right.
And then he ate dirt for a whole bunch of times. But
what can a healthy Daieisho do? I mean, that's the question.
He wins the Yusho.
Right. He's done it twice.
Worth noting, January is his tournament.
True.
So this is the mindset for you Daieisho fans like me.
Mm-hmm.
He does well. 10 wins. Goes into January, gets another cup.
Gets Ozeki.
Hello, Ozeki Daieisho.
Right, so we go from this sort of downtrodden story to, he's back up.
Yeah. Now, it is a tall order to get even 10 wins where he is, particularly if he does have all the injuries, and his hands are still taped, and, every once in a while he'll lean a little bit too much. So,
right.
Not a sure thing, but there's the path to victory. And I can't help but feel that for a lot of people who are lost, and we'll talk about the rest of the Sekiwake, seeing, like, envisioning that path has to be the way to get it.
Right, and Daieisho's not a lost person.
No.
Like you said, there's some lost souls here. Daieisho's not lost.
He's
Daieisho's fighting injuries, so he has that quality that you were speaking of with Hoshoryu and Takakeisho of he'll gut it out. It's just, is he physically able to? And that's a different problem. If he heals up, he can see the path forward. He can do it. He doesn't have all these mental gymnastics.
So the one other thing besides gutting it out, he needs a win off of Takakeisho.
He definitely does.
He does that, he can be Ozeki.
Right, we see it go like that.
Just like that, exactly. And guess what Takakeisho wants to do this tournament?
Yeah.
Here, we want to talk about rivalries.
There's a rivalry right there.
Yeah, it's a friendship. Now, it's a bit of a one-sided rivalry, if we're being honest. But imagine...
It won't be forever.
Imagine if Takakeisho doesn't get the Yusho because Daieisho beats him.
They might have talked to each other for a while. No.
Well, yeah. You see how this is fun.
Yeah, it is interesting.
When I'm looking at Daieisho, I'm like, okay, if his moment's in January, then in November he just needs to do good enough.
Right.
And if there's only one thing he needs to focus on, maybe you humble a few Ozeki. Maybe you humble all of them.
Maybe.
He did get his revenge on Kirishima already.
Yes.
He
got him Kirishima got Daieisho twice, and finally Daieisho was like, all right, I gotta turn this around.
3 times if you want to include the playoff.
True, yeah. That's right.
Daieisho probably does not want us to discuss.
No. He wants to forget about that.
So so he's got the Kirishima revenge. Now it's him and Hoshoryu. I think they're on even footing. I'd have to look it up. But Takakeisho, that is a guy he has yet to beat.
Yes, and with the day that he does it, is a very interesting day for him indeed.
Interesting day for Daieisho.
So, this guy, I don't know if we'd say he's lost, but he's lost. Wakakmotoharu maintains the same rank, 9 and 6, but this is a guy who was gonna be Ozeki, and he looks a little like he's wandering out there.
Yeah,
it's not solid, crisp sumo anymore.
I think the pressure finally hit the level that he couldn't just deal with it. And again, now I was reflecting on this because when Wakakmotoharu came up, he kept getting 9 and 6s. He kept doing really well, no matter what. The increase in pressure, the increase in competition gets into Sanyaku, 9 and 6, 9 and 6, 9 and 6. All of a sudden, 9 and 6 is not going to get you any further.
Right, and so now he's just hit the wall.
So
this could be what he does.
So he did get the 10 wins. I think he got an 11 wins. So he can push a little bit further. But now when you see the 9 and 6, up until now, particularly when he was coming up, particularly when we wanted the brother versus brother playoff fight, Wakatakakage, I believe, will be back in November, by the way.
Which is insane.
I don't know what magic he used on his leg, but whatever bargain you made, I hope it works out.
Yeah, seriously.
Those people are ridiculously healthy.
They have to be.
Oh, my goodness.
To come back that quick.
Oh, man.
But see, Wakakmotoharu, you've been hijacked by your brother, and this has been the story of his career.
Yes. This was a bit of an aside. I didn't mean to do this to you.
No, it's... I wanted it to come up, so this is the right place.
So, for Wakakmotoharu, he needs, it's that turning the 9 to a 10. It's turning that 10 to an 11. This is the game of inches that Kirishima won. So, again, I'm staying the optimistic type. There is a path to success for him, but I feel like it's just that one win could be like an entire climb.
Right.
It could take a long time.
But speaking of his brother, having his brother back in the stable because they were training partners, maybe that's the thing that helps him get that extra win.
Could be.
I mean, if his brother's that good, he can only just help him improve.
Yeah. Also, can you imagine if Wakatakakage gets up there first? Would he stand for it? He'd be like, no, how dare you?
I don't know what I would say. I'd be speechless. That Wakatakakage, man.
Yeah.
He's rising in stock here. Wakakmotoharu is sort of I think he's a little bit more easygoing, just based on what I see around the way. Like at the tours and stuff, Hoshoryu is doing exercises off of his back, and he's the one who was all involved with the Abi Instagram stuff. Wakakmotoharu might just be a little less intense, and that's what's causing him that one loss.
Maybe a little bit. So November is his chance to up the intensity.
Yeah.
It's his chance to prove that he's not going to be a career Sanyaku.
Right, because we know what happened to the last career Sanyaku.
Yeah, well,
wasn't pretty.
Takanosho and Mitakeumi both.
That's true.
Mitakeumi did make it to Ozeki, but
it almost doesn't count.
It is a weird.
I mean, what was it? 2 tournaments?
Yeah, it was rough. We'll talk about Mitakeumi too. I have vast optimism for him. Probably too much, but anyway.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah. So for Wakakmotoharu, he needs to turn that 9 into a 10.
And then go from there.
And I do feel like for the way he is, just that one win is so much of an ask.
And the timing of that win also determines where he goes. Like if it's a situation where he gets that extra win after a loss or something like that, it might be the motivation he needs. So
I think it's there, but for now, it's a little bit of a need to dig a little deeper, push a little harder.
Yeah, that's the sumo game.
It's a sumo game.
Speaking of somebody who also probably needs to push a little harder, Kotonowaka, Sekiwake 2 East, also maintains the same rank. I'm having a hard time looking at what results I put in for the Guess the Banzuke, but I better have gotten all of these because nobody really changed, okay? I did horribly, by the way, but we'll talk about that in the live streams in week 2. So, 9 and 6, his Ozeki bid is not completely crushed, but it's practically crushed.
Similar to Daieisho, it's mathematically possible, but he would need to win out.
And we haven't seen anything from him that shows that he could do that.
Yeah. Similar advice for all the Sekiwake, as far as I'm concerned, is that they're hitting the point where good is not good enough. And he's, relatively new to Sekiwake, but he's been in Sanyaku long enough to the point that we look at him and we're like, yeah, he's Sanyaku material. Which, when he came into Sanyaku, I felt like that was what he needed. Because for a while he was sort of just like, well, he's in Sanyaku, but he's unsure. He has a lot of these. Not gonna
stay.
Is he gonna stick the landing? A lot of these mono-y wins. But now it's a point where I see him at Sekiwake. It feels like he belongs there.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere higher.
Yeah, he's gonna have to step it up quite a bit.
And what's going to be a problem for him now is, and sort of the same problem for Wakakmotoharu, is that he's going to have all these wins that he's got to get off of the higher ups, and these have always been his problems.
Yeah.
He needs to get 5 of his 15 wins are Sekiwake and higher.
Yeah, and he's got he has the technical ability to do it, but he just doesn't execute.
It's execution issue. And again, this is also where, mathematically, he gets 13, 14 wins, he gets to Yusho. But that also means mathematically, Takakeisho, Kirishima, Hoshoryu, Daieisho.
To some extent, he has to hope on them having a bad day.
Yes.
All those guys.
And so, for Kotonowaka to get to Ozeki now, we're going to... If you do those matchups for all those people, you don't bet on Kotonowaka. Not because he's not good, but because he's not ready.
Right.
So
he's still fairly young.
Young-ish, 23, 24.
Yeah, Kirishima's getting up there. Hoshoryu's still young.
26.
Yes, so...
His birthday's in the Yusho.
Oh, maybe that's a little X factor. Or it'll make things worse. One or the other.
Hang on, man. Now I'm curious.
I think Hoshoryu's still, the young guy compared to everybody else.
What days it start? A week from the day.
Yeah, a week from today.
12th?
Correct.
12th. So the 19th is day 7.
Oh, that's a good time for a birthday.
So we will see who he fights on day 7. Got to pay a little closer attention.
Yes, put that in the notes.
This always catches me, because they always say, "Oh, it's his birthday today." I'm just like, I wish I knew that.
Right, I want to prepare in advance.
Now we know going in.
Day 7.
Birthday
boy.
Kotonowaka. I'll forget, but somebody help me remember.
I'll try to remember.
Somebody will remember.
Somebody send us a comment on the page so that we remember. So it shows up as a notification. So next we have the trickster himself, Abi, Komusubi 1 East. He rises up from Maegashira 2 East. He's back. But what has he got for us so we can stay and even go higher?
I like it. There's a very, very decisive cut among all of the Sanyaku ranks. So, and like if you're Ozeki, your struggle is to get to Yokozuna and not to fall. If you're Sekiwake, everybody's trying to get their Ozeki bids in line. They're good. They're holding their place, but they can't break out. And if you're Kamasubi and a few people in those top 5 rungs, the problem is that you can't stay in Kamasubi.
Right.
It's very slippery.
Yes, it is like walking on ice.
Yeah.
In your shoes.
So we'll say a lot of this stuff for Abi, but I would say keep it in the back of your head for a lot of people, particularly people who fell out of Sanyaku recently. Right. People who are trying to get up and are getting stalled. They all have this underlying issue, which is there's that extra gear we always talk about. And Abi's his career has been trying to find that extra gear.
And it's been going on a long time now.
Now he fell down due to the COVID wrist slap. He came back up. Everything looked good. He hit it. He fell down. He hit it. He fell down. He's hitting it again. And so the big question that no idea about, only he knows, only he can show us, is will his mixed bag of, I would say, Ozeki level sumo and henkas and tricks and somehow backpedaling, throwing at the edge, just like mixed bag of crazy stuff.
The problem with his style is that it's so chaotic. It's almost like he's flipping a coin when he's in there. It's like, once the guy comes at me, I'll decide what to do. That works if that's your plan B. But like, you have to have a solid way, like, I'm going to win with this one thing, and I only need all those tricks if something goes wrong. Like you always talk about, Abi B is coming out too much. So he can't get a grip on getting any higher. Yeah,
he will. I keep saying it's like, oh, he doesn't have any good strategy. But then like Abi B works on Sanyaku people,
right?
But it's less like the strict letter of the law at this point, and the spirit of the law, which is that he is relying on that plan B. And like you said, he needs the plan A. Now whatever. So his plan A could be just being a complete lord of chaos.
Right.
But if he sets his mind to it, if he dedicates himself to it, if he says, this is my brand, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to bet on getting me higher, it feels like that's the push, the focus it.
Right, focus the chaos.
Now we all have our own personal opinions out of what we want Abi to be doing. About what is your plan? Do we want you to do crazy push sumo? Do we want you to go in and fight 15 different ways because you've watched tape and you've got strategies and almost like a Kirishima level of mind? Or do you just Chiyoshoma henka everybody because Chiyoshoma's not the top division anymore?
Right. It's like somebody has to fill the role. Right?
I'm sort of like, the trickster fell out. God, please come back in January, Chiyoshoma. I already missed you.
Well, I don't know what it is about Abi. I really don't know if he's just not strong enough.
There's something. There's
something is missing.
Something is missing. We can guess on it. Maybe it's the pressure. Maybe it's he.
Yeah, maybe it's a mental thing where he just can't focus it.
Yeah, maybe he goes in on Daieisho and it's just like, oh no.
Right, like Daieisho is a powerful dude.
Yeah, so
I don't feel that way about Abi. I feel like Abi, his slaps are fast, but they're not powerful.
Yeah. Maybe he just needs aura work.
Maybe he needs to be able to intimidate just slightly for a second.
He walks in and people are like, oh no, it's Abi.
Right, like when Daieisho comes in with all the taped up fingers, you're kind of like, is he gonna stab me in the eye with that? Like when Abi comes in, you're like, is he gonna hank me? Like, what do you bring out of your opponent when they face you?
Yep. There was a Sumo Salon video about the Tachi-ai, and they had brought that up. Specifically, they were talking to Kiseno Sato, with Nishonoseki Oyakata nowadays.
I think so, yep.
And they were talking about his fight with Hakuho, or Miyagi-no Oyakata these days, and about how Hakuho would be playing mind games
Oh, yeah.
with Kisano Sato, and they like go through and they're like, you guys henka'd a disproportionate amount of times against each other, and it was all because Hakuho was just mind games, aura attacks.
You know, he would stand up and just like throw his hand out, like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah. He would stand back up. He was just like he it was all that movement, and then like what would happen is that like if Kisano Sato did it to him, he'd do it back, and it was.
You never knew what you were gonna get.
That aura, the mind games.
That's what Abi needs then.
Maybe
he needs to study Hakuho.
Maybe he already studies the tape.
Yeah, study the Hakuho tape, because Hakuho, people don't always remember it, was the king of mind games. Nothing was funnier than watching him go up against. I don't know if it was Tobizaru or if it was.
There was the shotgun Tachiai he did against Shodai on like day 14 of the Zensho Yusho. He just steps back all the way to the
and you're like,
to the lucky lump.
Yeah.
And the entire place was like, what's going on?
What is he gonna do? Yeah, I think we've solved Abi's problem.
Maybe. Speculation.
Figure out how to be Hakuho.
Couple of amateurs yelling into a microphone. We got this.
Yeah, exactly.
Call off the NHK pundits. We know what's going on.
We got this. So, now we have your guy, Hokutofuji, Komusubi 1 West, up from Maegashira 1 East, 8-7. He was in a period for a couple of months, couple of tournaments, where you almost thought he was done for. And now he has made a resurgence to Sanyaku.
This is so I don't know if it was Komusubi East, but Komusubi is his career high rank.
Yes.
Very exciting. Very happy to be here. But flip side, every single time he's gotten to Komusubi, he's fallen out.
Yes.
Without fail.
Yes. This is a hard spot to maintain.
For him, impossible.
Yes.
This like we talk about people feeling out their ceilings. Like this is it.
Right. He's like walking on the ceiling, you know, with suction cups on his feet.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, is this going to stick this time or am I going to fall?
Yeah. It's sort of like you're going skiing and like you see the diamond path. You're like, I don't do diamond path. That's not me.
Exactly.
This is what's happening with him. So that's from November. It's all or bust. Like,
yeah.
Can you get the 8-7 here?
Because I think he's going to have quite a collapse if he has a bad tournament. Like, it's going to be hard for him to pull himself back up after, because he's just got so much wear and tear on his body. You know, we talk about Takakeisho's last chance. I feel like this is Hokutofuji's last chance to like either maintain or just get high enough.
Well, this is like it is that you get the 8-7, no matter how it looks.
Yeah.
Then you've broken the curse. Then he can fall down all he wants because he held it.
Exactly.
And then that's the progress.
So here's a question for you.
Would
Hokutofuji ever dare Henka?
I knew it. So I would almost say you should think about it, but he's not that kind of wrestler.
He's not, and I think that's what's awesome about him.
Yes, I mean that's one of the reasons I love him. Because
he would just like lay out and bleed on the dohyo before he would Henka.
He would rather die.
And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, if he ever Henkas, I have lost all hope.
No,
because I put everything into the fact that Hokutofuji would never Henka.
Yeah. It would. I'll say. Well, we're talking about giving you a little bit of spoilers. Okay. Yeah. So if Hokutofuji ever Henkas, I'm just gonna send you a picture of Rorschach from Watchmen holding that sign that says "The end is nigh."
Yes.
I'm gonna send you that because the world is about to end.
The apocalypse is coming in 30 minutes.
That is the sign. Right? It's not the 10 plagues of Egypt. It's not the arrival of some Book of Revelation stuff. It's Hokutofuji henking.
I'm going to agree with this. That is definitely the sign that the times are over. It's going to be fun to see him up this high after so much struggle, so much pain. I'd love to see him throw in a, Yusho effort, but I don't think that's going to happen. If he gets to 8-7, throw a party. That is the plan, quite simply. He gets the 8-7, we throw a party. When he does 8 losses, I'll just cry on the floor. Yeah. But I have to tell you, I was out in the sumo internet world. I'm always out there stalking around, seeing what's going on. I saw people using the phrase Hokutofuji Yusho. Yes! I have to believe that either it passed through the morphogenetic field and now it's common knowledge for all, or some people are being influenced by this channel. Just saying. And I'm proud of the Hokutofuji show, and it will happen regardless of his status.
Oh, good. No.
It just lives in infamy.
There's no stopping it.
Exactly. So, now we got to go on a little bit of a downer, but maybe not a downer, but it's not looking great. And that would be Asanoyama, Maegashira 1 East, up from Maegashira 2 West, 9-6. I really thought they were going to promote him, and this is what...
I was shocked.
Destroyed my Banzuke, because that was a huge risk. You know, if they don't put Asanoyama in Sanyaku, my whole list falls apart. But I thought there was no way, after all the crap that's happened, that they were going to do that to him, and they did.
They did. They slammed the door in his face.
That was dirty, man.
And to add injury to insult, now he pulls his calf on the tour.
Yeah.
So he pulled. He had the elbow issues. He had shoulder issues.
It's falling apart.
Falling apart. That's real rough. Now, on the flip side, 8-7, and he's in Sanyaku. So here's another guy. Yeah. Come hell or high water, all you need is those 8 wins.
And we're seeing a new side of Asanoyama. This is the gut it out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some of the things he said, the old Asanoyama was not like that. Like, you know, drag me in, I'm fighting. I don't care if I'm injured, I'm coming back, and I'm going to win. He's a new guy. The only thing stopping him at this point is the actual injuries. I think if he could overcome them a little bit, he can actually really push himself back up.
I had him in the back of my mind coming into this for my Yusho pick. I was like... Because we saw that 9-6 was hobbled together.
Yeah.
He had the injured bicep. He fought through it. He was
tear a bicep and still win. Like, wow.
Yes. He was fighting. He was just like, there is no stopping me. I was like, I believe you. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, he's healthy. He's getting a cup, but now he's injured again.
And that's because probably the same problem that Takakeisho has, which is overdoing it.
Overdoing it a little bit.
He's in his head so much like, I got to win. I'm running out of time. I lost all this time. Like, the wheels are spinning, and he's overtraining.
It's too much. So what's also frustrating about this for him, and this has been his issue for the longest time, is all of this it's almost a prelude. So he's going through all the difficulty, the adversity, all the training, gets back into the top division, and it's like, not only is he just expected to win, no matter how hard it is he expected to do better than win, but for his goal of getting back to Ozeki, nothing that he does here is going to help him. And furthermore, any misstep is only going to be pushing that date further and further back.
I dare to say there is not a man in sumo right now with more pressure or looking at the clock more than him.
Well, the looking at the clock particularly, knowing he's 29, knowing that his window is shutting on him.
Knowing that he lost 2 years when he was at the Ozeki. He would have been Yokozuna. Like,
could have been.
I mean, what a tragedy. I hope that at the end of his career, we're not talking about what never happened. I hope he figures this out. Because this whole thing does read like a Shakespearean tragedy.
It really does.
His coach died the other day,
Another
too.
one. Yeah.
He's had so much death follow him as well. It's like, whoa, we need to back up, okay?
Yeah. So he's the flip side of this. He needs 8 wins in November. That's it.
Right.
Then on day 1 in January, everything he does is going towards his bid. Yeah. Once Kamasubi 2 West, doesn't matter. You're in Sanyaku. That counts for the resume.
And he's done it before. He was Ozeki before, so he's not new to the pressure. He's not new to the game.
It'll be, again, like trying to envision the path. Like, I can't help but feel knowing that when you're Kamasubi, when you're Sekiwaki, depending on how well he does, you know, it's like every win that you get is towards that 33.
Yeah. And right now, all this is like
it's what?
Waste. It's a waste to him because all he cares about is getting back and beyond.
This is just wasting his time.
This is like being in Juryo.
For quite frankly, for him, anything less than Ozeki is not good enough.
Exactly. I hope for the best for him. I really do.
And
I wasn't a huge fan of his before this because I felt like he was so talented and didn't do anything with it. And now I feel like my heart breaking in pieces every time another obstacle gets in his way. I'm like, no.
Well, this is why I am hopeful. Is that like we're about to get over the last one?
I hope so.
Again, getting the Ozeki, as we can ask the 3 Sekiwake, is still a gargantuan feat.
Yes, as we could even ask Takayasu. I mean, look at how good Takayasu's been doing. He's still tooling around at Maegashira 3.
Gosh. Yeah, but anyway, so I just hope to God he can do something on that leg to get 8 wins off of it.
Yeah, and then hopefully can heal in the meantime.
Then he heals. Okay, then there's a sigh of relief. Then you heal, then you prepare, and then everything January forward, and it's going in the bank.
New year, new rank.
New year, new rank. Exactly.
So that was quite a story here, and I feel like Ura is quite a story in his own right. He's kind of changing slightly.
Just a little bit of an evolution on our hands.
So he's up to Maegashira 1 West. This is his career high. I don't think that he expected, we'll say 6 months ago, I don't think Ura expected to get this high. He was talking in ways like, I'm just out here doing my thing, and I'm enjoying it, and blah, blah, blah. The comment that he made recently was something along the lines of, I should be able to hang in with all these guys. There's
mindset change. Yes,
there's a confidence here that Ura has developed, and it makes me wonder, like, how far is he going to go now?
This is sort of what I'm sort of thinking of for looking up and down. So we look at all our friends up here, and 6 months ago, as you said, that's probably the perfect metric. We look at Hoshoryu, we look at Kirishima, we look at all the Sanyaku, we even look at some of the top 5 here, and you're like, on a good day, Ura doesn't have a chance. This Ura, this slowly evolving, turning into something better and stronger than he was, this is, talk about Boo. Now we're talking about Super Boo.
Yeah, that's right.
And if this keeps going, we'll be looking at Kid Boo.
And Kid Boo, blows up planets, okay?
I'm like, sort of snuck up on me, and like, I'm looking at like all the data says he just gets slapped down. You're just like, Daieisho's going to crack him. There's no way. Kirishima is not going to give him the time of day. But in the back of your mind, you're like, this is something different. We've not seen this. We don't know what's going to happen with her anymore.
There was a moment, I missed the actual moment that happened, but there was a moment in the July tournament where all of a sudden he just seems so serious. He's up there and he just looked hungry and not just having a good time.
Yeah. So we
must be those Tobizaru matches. I don't know.
That does bring something out of the two of them going.
The two of them going at each other. They did something to each other.
So there's a lot of talk about the Ozeki and the Sanyaku, and they're all trying to get better and they're all pushing up. And we've got this surge of people from underneath
that want their turn.
And this is also a sign of the times that maybe a year ago from now, all we were doing is talking about the people coming up because everybody up top was floundering. And so, we sort of looked at, then Shodai, then Mitakeumi, Takakeisho, God bless, holding the line, as he's been doing for years. Terunofuji was starting to go in and out. And all that was going on. And we're not thinking about the top. Now we're thinking about the top. What's going to happen at the bottom?
Right. And you can see the foreshadowing for that with just the guys who are coming up from Juryo now, how we're doing this complete swap. There's a feeling in the air in Sumo.
Something different.
That there's all these people coming out of the woodwork that are ready to change the script. And you just got to be ready for the moment that happens. Because a year from now, we might think about all of this so differently.
Yeah. And then you look back up. You go look down, you go look up, and you're like, well, we were talking about what if Daieisho takes the win off of Takakeisho, what if Ura does it?
Right.
And then
we know Ura could.
Yeah. And then I'm talking about how Hokutofuji needs 8 wins. What if he's day 15 against Ura?
Right.
What happened? Oh, then everything that you thought you knew.
That's the thing.
Everything that you were
Sumo.
confident about, is now this weird hinge. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is what we come out for.
This is what we come out for. We may be looking in November at the birth of a new dark horse.
Let me tell you, the Guess the Banzuke is just going to get worse and worse. Okay? It's just going to be so unpredictable. No one's going to win ever. Okay?
I don't understand how people do well in that.
I don't either.
I don't. We have to put in the work. Yeah. A lot of work.
Apparently, we need to like become mind readers or something, like sneak into Japan.
We're always excited for Ura matches, but now we're excited and curious.
Yeah, like what's gonna happen?
What's gonna happen?
So next, Mr. Shodai. We never know what's gonna happen with Mr. Shodai. They put him up from Maegashira 3 East to Maegashira 2 East. I thought they were gonna put him a little higher, but that's because I also thought that Asanoyama was gonna take Sanyaku. But 8 and 7. He was starting to be back against the wall Shodai in week 2 that I almost forgot existed because he's been too mushy lately. Is he gonna try to get back into Sanyaku? What do you think is going on in Shodai's head? Like, what does he actually want?
I think week 1 Shodai is going to be the Shodai that we know. Very passive, reactive, loses the Tachiai. And so I'm interested in week 2 Shodai.
So that's probably where the focus should always be on Shodai.
I think so. At least until that week 1 starts to look more like a week 2.
He needs to have maybe day 4 start to come alive instead of day 8. That would be
interesting.
You know?
He is technically in Sanyaku range. I don't expect him to get to Kamasubi. Like we talk about, maybe Urakan, it's Sanayama. You look at Shodai, you're like,
probably not.
Probably not.
Probably gonna get the 7 and 8. You know?
So I am. So the first 7 days of the tournament, I see Shodai, I'm just like, prove me wrong.
Right.
Prove me wrong.
Unfortunately, that's what he's put himself into now.
Yeah. I still love watching Shodai fight. Yeah. He's got crisp sumo, and when he'll do the Eeyore slump if he felt like he could win. Always worth our time.
Always need that character.
And it's not like he goes into week 2 0-7 either. Like he'll get some wins here and there, and he is the kind of guy that he'll wake up on a day that his opponent wishes he didn't. Always. But see, his whole career is like that. That's why it took so long for him to even get to Ozeki. Yes. Because he would be doing terrible, and then he would beat a Yokozuna. That is Shodai. That is him. Yeah.
Nothing's really changed.
And the more things change, the more they don't. Which is why it was that week 2 wake up. Because what was interesting about that is he's not trying to clear Katoban here.
No, he's just kind of trying to, I guess, for lack of a better term, do his brand of sumo.
Yeah. So it's in a way he got fired up over nothing.
Yeah.
Which I was just like, I like this. The evil angry panda bear look that he had on day 10 or 11. I cherished it.
It's like, yes, Shodai. Yeah. Roll him over.
Yes. So this is why I'm like, okay, week 1 probably more of the same. If we see sparks fly in Shodai in week 1, it's hold on to something.
Maybe something interesting.
Maybe we're onto it. But day 8 forward, I'll be like, okay, Shodai, I want to see that again. And then he gets the first 7 days, let him do his thing. It's sort of you do a couple of laps in the pool before we start the stopwatch.
Right, exactly.
Get warmed up. That's my thought.
Well, best of luck to you, Shodai. Now we have Meisei goes down to Maegashira 2 West, 7 and 8. He's got a lot to work through if he's going to get any higher. I mean, that is for sure. He has had his chances over and over and over again to ascend, and it just hasn't worked out. So he needs something. Part of that is he needs to be completely healed, but he's lacking in all categories, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So where's the place for him to start?
Well, him and Abi, I put in the same bucket. Abi's a little bit, I'm not going to say luckier, but Abi has a way of making things go his way. But they both have the same fundamental issue. So it's almost a little worse for Meisei because Meisei's been at Sekiwaki. There was that moment. I remember the two of us were fighting people. We're like, no, he belongs here.
He does belong there. It's not a fluke.
It's not a fluke. Now it feels like he doesn't belong there. Now we're looking at him and we're like, dude, you've got to up your game. And you'd feel like he has all the pieces because he's got Nozeki in his stable now. He's starting to put things together. He's showing an evolution of the game, but it feels like, he comes out with the 2.0 and then the 3.0 comes out the next day.
Well, you know what's interesting is I was doing the live streams and I said, Meisei is such a hard worker. And somebody said to me, how do you know? And I wondered to myself, I'm like, do I know? Like, is the problem that Meisei has a lot of like natural intensity in bouts, but maybe not in practice? And so he can't get any higher? This is something that's all speculative because there's no way for me to know. But it sort of was like one of those turnabouts, like an Ace Attorney situation where I was like, do I know if he's a hard trainer?
The music just changed in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do. It's like, is he actually like really good at sumo naturally and he needs to step it up a notch? Whereas I had it pegged the other way where he's really working hard and it just, things aren't working his way, I don't know. I'm very confused by Meisei at this point. I don't know where he's going.
November is his chance to do one of two things. I feel like he'd need double digits to get back into Sanyaku. Maybe that won't happen. But either he's going to show us that he's got something going on, or he's just going to get another 8 and 7 and get another 7 and 8 and look like he's still got to figure it out.
And yeah, he might stick in that pattern for quite a while. That might be Meisei's game, unfortunately.
At this point, that is his game.
And he hasn't shown us anything different.
Yeah, I mean, we always look to those examples of, remember, this is actually really tough.
Yeah, exactly.
So Meisei is that reminder that, this is still the top 5. This is still really, really difficult.
Just because some guys make it look easy doesn't mean it is.
Just because we're talking about, Hoshoryu, he'll be Yokozuna next year, no problem. He'll get it together. We're just like, keep in mind that we're saying that because Hoshoryu is so focused, hungry, driven. His sumo is so good that he's worthy of that chance.
Exactly. Like the top guys, the good guys, they're the only ones who you can say that about. Everybody else, it's like a flip of a coin.
A little coin. So Meisei needs to get rid of the coin.
Yeah, he does.
He's
to bury that coin, okay?
I feel like that's still there for him. Like it's not
too late.
Like for Abi, I'm like, I don't know some days. It's just like if Abi were to become Ozeki, it'll be like, I could see it. But but it's just like, would you pull your wallet out on Abi?
No.
Like on Meisei, Woody was like, maybe. But you need it's just like I need to watch this a little longer.
Yeah, I'm not ready to commit.
But it's just like for Abi, I'll be like, no bet. But for Meisei, I'll be like, give me 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come back to me. Give me a call.
Abi, by the way, prove me wrong.
Seriously.
Everybody prove me wrong. Whenever I'm talking bad, it's just the best thing you can do. And somebody's talking you bad, just do better and just smile because you did better.
We give you our honest feeling, but we always hope if it's negative that we're wrong. So call it like it is.
Well, this is the perfect transition.
This is the perfect transition. Mr. Takayasu, who, has slow walked into our hearts. He never gives up. Never, ever, ever. He's making me think that he will get that Yusho and then retire the next day. He got a 10-5. He got a nice little bump from Maegashira 7 East to Maegashira 3 East. The problem is, he's getting older. He's lost a lot of the power. And obviously injuries are a chronic thing. But, man, that man never gives up.
He never gives up. If you need somebody to push like if the nightmare, like you're in the middle of Alaska and the power goes out and you need to trek across the 10 below landscape to go for food, you call Takayasu, be like, this is your moment.
And he would just show up and he would just like kind of nod his head and like, let's go.
Yep.
And you would follow him and you would trust him.
Follow him, you trust him. If you fall down from frostbite, he'll just drag you.
Yep, he's like, let's go. He'd put you on his shoulder and he'd carry you up a mountain.
Yeah. So here is the perfect sumo being. You take week 1 Takayasu and you take week 2 of Shodai. Yokozuna in a year.
That would be amazing.
They have the exact opposite problems. First week of Takayasu, he's strong, he's crisp, he has the Ozeki aura. You look at him and you're like, why are you not in Ozeki already?
Right.
And then week 2, something happens. The pressure goes. It
falls apart too.
He fought a Tomifuji. All props for winning. Hand goes to the back. As soon as his hand went for that back on like day 11, I was just like, ah.
He's hurt. Great.
Like he finished it out. He did. He toughed it out. He gritted his teeth, bit down on the mouthpiece, but it was still.
It's not what we wanted. Yeah.
It was in it. Also, like a lot of people were like, "This is his time. This is his time." I'm just like, week 2, Takayasu is the bane.
The bane of his existence.
The bane of his own existence. He can be 11-0, and it doesn't count.
I know.
It doesn't count.
That would happen too. 11-0, and he would end up,
He ends up 11-4.
11-4, and it happens to be the tournament where somebody's 15-0. Because 11-4 was enough to win last time.
Yeah.
He's never in it in one of the tournaments where 11-4 is enough to win it.
It really isn't.
Come on, Takayasu.
Yeah, on paper he was a win away.
Yeah, on paper. You never felt that the entire time.
No.
Because you see him like getting, knocked over by a Tomifuji, hurting his back.
Yeah.
It's like
week 1 Takayasu, enjoy it. If he's 8-0,
enjoy it.
But
think nothing more.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist until a 12 shows up.
If you see a 12,
he's probably winning.
Okay, then you can get hype again.
Unless you see somebody else with a 13, then he's got no shot. I don't know.
Well, there is so much going against him.
You ready for this? Okay,
I'm ready for it.
Takakeisho versus Takayasu. Winner gets the Yusho, which would mean either Takakeisho Yokozuna or Takayasu's first Yusho.
Well, that already happened. And
right.
Takakeisho won.
Well, but in this situation, Takakeisho going for Yokozuna.
They both lose.
That's probably what they both lose and Tomifuji wins.
Yes.
There we go. That's what's going to happen. I'm calling it now.
No, they collide heads.
Yeah, because think about it. Takakeisho's crux is trying to get Yokozuna. Yeah. Takayasu's is trying to win the Yosho. They're tied 12-3 at the end, and they just knock each other out.
That is exact. In the Tachi, they crash heads, they fall limp in the middle of the ring.
They can't call a winner.
And it's a Torunofuji. They're both unconscious. And so Tomifuji wins
by default.
That's how it ends.
And that will be how Tomifuji wins his first Yusho. And he'll have years and years to laugh about it. I'm telling you, that's the kind of curses that exist in this.
This is the powerful magic that's going on here.
We wish you the best, Takayasu.
Yeah. Yes. Again.
Yes.
We are. And forever will be on the Takayasu train.
Yeah. I don't care who turns their back on him. It won't be me.
It won't be me.
He's getting that Yusho, and I'm watching that retirement ceremony where he talks about that Yusho, and he cries, and everything's beautiful, damn it. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. It was T something who retired, and then he talked about how he's just like, I did really well. Yes. Not Tochinoshin.
No.
Right?
Oh my goodness, his face is in my head and I can't think of it. Tochiozan.
There it is.
Tochiozan. He hurt me in my heart.
He did, because he talked to it. He's like, I never won the Yusho and it's going to stay with me the rest of my life. Takayasu is not.
That's not.
He's not going to say that.
No. I refuse to believe
it. It's not happening. He's getting it.
But not this time. It needs to be Takakeisho. Whether I think Takakeisho will win or not, that's a whole other thing. We'll talk about that later. Okay. Tobizaru, who apparently is somewhat controversial himself. Some people really don't like Tobizaru. Some people love Tobizaru. What's up with these controversies coming out of nowhere, okay? Everybody's great, all right? Anyway, Tobizaru, Maegashira 3 West, down from Komusumi 1 East, 6-9. Sanyaku is a tough pill to swallow for him. He's not quite... He doesn't quite have it. He's gotten a hold of his chaos. He's not flying out, 5 rows into the crowd, but he's not there. He's not strong enough for something.
He needs the hyperbolic time chamber.
He does. He needs some training catch up. Like if there was a way to do double time training, Tobizaru could benefit from that.
Yeah. This is still a credit to the work he's done to get here.
True.
I will proudly eat my lunch on this one, and that we were like, Tobizaru doesn't really belong in the top division.
We did say that.
That was too. You're pretty sure you can. If you go dig through our archives, you're gonna find that both of us be like, who is this guy?
I called him an imposter.
Yeah. We both loved him back then, but we're like, there's no way this is going to stick.
He'll be back in jury.
Yeah, no big deal, guys. Just have your fun with him while you're We were like, oh, cool, social media presence, whatever we thought. Wrong. Super wrong. Now,
good wrongness.
Yes. Now we're talking about how this guy, like, what does he need to stay in Sanyaku? This is our discussion now.
Well, he's got a little bit of that Abi chaos.
It's the same, like, There's the
loose Mawashi.
Yeah, there's all that. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep. That's where his controversy came in. Loose Mawashi, a little bit of sometimes the trickery is not received well, but he's determined. He wants to make a name for himself. He wants to prove he belongs here.
I feel there is going to be that one day. Now it might not happen, but there will be that one day that there's a tournament that like he'll do some move. And then he'll like no sell, walk away. We're like, what?
Yes.
Like the Hoshoryu kind of.
I love.
You know how Hoshoryu will do something and then he just walks back.
Right, and he's got that smug look on his face, but at the same time, like he's almost like dismissing the person he just beat.
Yeah, he's just like, well, that was good.
Yeah, of course I was going to do that.
Oh, it was a good match. Yeah. Of course.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry that you're on the floor, but what'd you expect?
Yeah, there'll be that. I feel like that's what will happen. Not that he's going to heel turn. But he's just going to suddenly do something or be like, oh.
Right, there's a moment.
Oh.
A flip switch.
Yes. Like there will be a moment that we'll be able to point at a day and a fight and we'll be like, this is where Sanyaku Tobizaru was born.
Mark your words.
Exactly. We had that moment where he upped his game, but like it couldn't stick.
Right, and it just, like you said, it's hard.
It's hard.
You're top 5, in the upper ranks here, not counting Sanyaku. You gotta earn it. You gotta claw and dig and scrape and bleed
every inch
until your career's over. If you want it, that's what it requires. So we'll see if Tobizaru's got it in him.
Yeah. So for not gonna expect too crazy, but again, keep that eye out for that moment, the catalyst.
You will remember where you were sitting.
Exactly. You will feel it. You'll be like, oh, that's it. Yeah. Maybe it'll be in November. Maybe it'll be in January. Maybe it'll never happen.
I think next year is going to be interesting.
We
can make that prediction.
New Yokozuna in 2024.
New Yokozuna in 2024.
I feel like
you can take your bets as to who it is.
I feel like that's a room temperature take, but I'm still gonna roll with it.
Hey, look, it's not been pretty, so I mean that seems like a pretty risky bet. Anyway, on what I consider not a risky bet at this point, Kotonowaka, Maegashira 4 East, up from Maegashira 5 East, 9-6. Okay, so in some senses, he's just slowly climbing, but in other senses, he was just in Juryo, a couple tournaments ago?
Yeah.
Kotonowaka, mark my words, he's going to be a star.
He's already a star,
He's already a star, but I mean, like, he is going to leapfrog some people.
Yeah. In January, he was double-digit Juryo. Yeah. And in November, he's in the top 5.
He's going to get a shot at Takakeisho here, isn't he?
Yes, and I cannot wait for that fight. I have been wanting this fight since Kotonowaka fought Takakeisho in September. I'm like, that was not a real one.
That was not a real fight. That was a test.
That was a test. Kotonowaka had no idea what he was doing.
He's just too nervous.
Here's his senpai. Takakeisho had him dead to rights. This time in November, Kotonowaka's got the rank. He's gonna fight him earlier.
Yep.
And Kotonowaka's gonna be like, okay, I need to get this loss off.
I really hope that Kotonowaka doesn't break my heart and beat Takakeisho in a way that ruins everything. But at the same time, I'm also rooting for him to beat Takakeisho in a way that ruins everything. Because I really like Kotonowaka, and to be the best, you have to beat the best. Isn't that the quote?
That would be the iconic "the king is dead, long live the king" moment for you specifically.
Yes, I will be lying in a puddle like, okay, the Yokozuna dream is really dead this time, but we have the future.
Yeah. This is the old man passes off to the young man and says, "Carry this into the future."
It might be a bitter pill, but there are only a few people that I feel like Takakeisho would be like, okay, well, at least it was him. So, if anything, I'm just rooting for the future to be very bright.
It's very exciting. And again, he seems like he's the guy who will build himself back up. Now, this is what November...
He does need some power.
He needs the power. This is what November was going to tell us. Because if he's fighting Takakeisho, then he's fighting Kirishima, he's fighting Hoshoryu, he's fighting everyone.
Oh, I can't wait.
He's fighting everyone.
That's going to be fun.
Oh, man.
Do not get hurt.
Yeah.
All the woods.
Both eyes.
Yeah.
Directly on the screen whenever he's there.
Oh, he's going to make it good. He's going to make it so good. And the fact that he actually can use belt techniques is amazing.
It's so it's now this has the chance to be a little humbling.
Yeah, of course.
But the sky's the limit for him. Like in this moment, we're like the potential, it feels like it's infinite.
Right. It feels like something really special is going to happen.
Really, we need to know.
We do. We need to hurry up and get there so we can find out.
Yeah. It's like, it's the rocket ship goes into the air, and it's like then you push the button to make the disconnect and the next stage go. You're just like, you push the button, you're like, you want to make sure the button works. Yep. You're not going to know. Nope,
you're just waiting.
You're just going to push the button, you got to wait.
Well, we need somebody with, Hakuoho out until January. It's good that he's here because that was a pretty big loss.
I'm already looking forward to the Sanyaku fight between Gonayama and Hakuoho. When Hakuoho climbs his way back up and Gonayama's already been there for 6 months.
I can't wait. That better be the future rivalry. Because
it's inevitable. It's inevitable
as long as everybody stays healthy.
Yeah,
everybody stay healthy.
Stay healthy, please.
Can't handle it. Speaking of not healthy, Nishikigi, Maeshiro 4 wrist, down from Komusubi 1 East. Thought that was kind of interesting that they knocked him down that far. I mean, I guess it's comparable, but I feel like Tobizaru got another favorable
There's a little bit of that. The double-digit loss hits a little harder.
True. I mean, when once you get the 5 and 10, like it stands.
It's a little bit rougher.
So he had a lot of pressure, but he did actually get hurt. That was revealed at the end. Like he was fighting. He actually got hurt right before the tournament.
He got hurt before the tournament, and so that definitely didn't help his record, and then he had the nerves, and it was a Sanyaku curse.
We knew it was a tall order for Nishikigi to actually be able to stay in Sanyaku, nevertheless, go higher. So it's not the end of the world. I'll put it that way. He's done a great thing by getting up so high and showing what he can do. But now we're going to start to see a little bit of the veteran woes with the injuries, I think. Because it's way harder to recover. And when you get up to Sanyaku, you got to fight all the top guys.
I feel like there's enough momentum for him that he can regroup a little bit. The injury thing is a little concerning. Maybe he's not going to be as much of a rebound as I was hoping for. But the way Nishikigi's been fighting, it's like there's not... This is the guy who chucked the Yokozuna like garbage.
Man, that was brilliant.
I don't feel like that guy is going to just fade out.
Right. I think barring some catastrophic injury, which he keeps himself in pretty good shape, I think. Barring some catastrophic injury, I think that Nishikigi will be around for a while in the, within the 5 to 10 range. I don't see disaster coming his way at this point.
No. Not at 4. Not at 4 West. And again, maybe a 7 and 8, maybe 6 and 9, but
nothing too bad. Not a Tamawashi.
No. No. I'm hoping more for the 9 and 6, but the range. There'll be a 9 on one side of the dash.
That's a pretty good assumption.
It feels like we're gonna be in that range.
But hopefully he's nice and healed up. I did hear he's been on the tour. He's been going to stables. So it sounds like everything's just pretty good.
Getting back to good standard.
So we'll see. He's a question mark as to is he going to have a great tournament or just an okay tournament. I don't expect a bad tournament. So next we have Onosho, Maegashira 5 East, up from Maegashira 6 East, 9 and 6. This is a slow build as well. He's coming back from double knee injuries. After he had figured things out, was looking pretty strong. So his condition has a lot to do with where he's going next.
Yes. So he's fighting really well with the bad knees, and it feels like, every tournament the knees will get a little better. He's young enough so that it's not like he's gonna stick with those.
Right.
Is
Takakeisho young?
Yes. I am looking, speaking of Takakeisho, he'll be in range of the Ozeki. And I think what he does to the Ozeki, win or lose, is going to be like the real gauge of where he is.
Right, like how he fights.
Because Onosho has the mindset that I think he walks into the ring thinking he's going to beat his opponent, no matter who that opponent is.
Yes.
Except maybe Hako, but anyway.
Even then, he's probably like, one of these days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That again. It's just like, am I going to beat you now? But I'll beat you next time.
Right.
That's the mindset. So for him to go fight Hoshoryu, Kirishima, Takakeisho, like the pressure he puts on them is going to tell us the raw news on those knees.
Yes.
So if it looks like he's a little rickety, if they sort of just handle him without too much trouble, then Onosho's still working through it. If he puts one of them through their paces, even if he loses, like if Hoshoryu has to go through his bag of tricks a few times in front of us, then Onosho is making his move.
Right. And, this may not be so great for him in the immediate, but every time you make one of those guys have a tough match, you take a little bit off of them.
And you give it to yourself.
Exactly. So you may not see the immediate gains, but there will be gains if he has good matches with the Ozeki.
I'm so happy to be talking about Onosho in a way of, let's look what we can do. Let's see the progress.
Because it's been a while since we could.
Instead of the oh no
show.
But so very positive on that.
Yes. And we need some positive here in this sort of middle section that we're entering into.
It's a little weirdness.
Because there's a lot of hurt people. There's a lot of messed up brains going on.
There's a lot of we're not sure anymore.
Right, like we're going to take a guess, but doesn't mean we know what we're talking about. So Midorifuji is one of those guys.
Yes, very much.
Now, I have some thoughts on it, but Maegashira 5 West, up from Maegashira 9 East, because he got a 10-5, he's trying to climb up again. Have you noticed? Midorifuji does the best when he is able to land the most amount of katatsukashis he can.
Correct.
In the tournaments that he cannot land the move at least 5 times, he doesn't have a good record. So that's a good and bad thing, right? Because we're always talking about you got to have your signature way to win. But typically, katatsukashi is not the move that's like the dominating move. But he's making it work. I mean, if he can keep landing it and people know it's coming, well, then that's his brand of sumo. But it's risky because people know it's coming.
Well, it's coming and there's a lot of setup. You have to put somebody in a certain way.
Yeah, so it's hard to know where he's going to go because it almost is determined by his opponents as well.
Yeah, so the Katatsukasi, it's going to work on people who don't know how to defend it, aren't having a good day themselves. It's not going to work on anybody higher than Kamasubi.
It's not going to work on Hoshoryu.
No, and that's the problem.
Asanoyama.
The big guns, once he gets up there, they just throw him out like he's in the way.
But here's the thing. When you're as small as Midorifuji, is this the best you can actually expect out of your career? Like, I really want to see a small man who's good enough to be a Sanyaku with his small man stuff. I wish I could have watched Minomi back in the day. Because he's the one that seems like he was the best.
He was the big little guy. He's as good as we're going to get for now. I feel, at least on that kind of a size.
Right.
This will be us gauging how well he's able to handle the top, full well knowing that the last few times this has happened, it's not really gone out in his favor.
Right. He gets up a little higher, and then he can't get his katatsukashis in, then he falls back down.
He needs a solution to the Sanyaku problem, and that's ultimately what always knocks him down. Once you have to fight Murderer's Row.
Right.
And we've got 3 Ozeki, we've got 3 Sekiwake, we've got 2 Kamasubi. So that's 8 matches.
Right.
So you've got to get one of those.
You got to get a katatsukashi on one of those guys.
On one of those guys. Who's it going to be?
Right, and they know it's coming.
This is the problem. This is what he needs to solve, and if he can't solve it, he's never going to get up there.
He's got to find a decent way to fake, I guess.
Or a new trick.
Right. Can you throw in something else that... Like, look at Ura. Ura can throw in literally anything he wants.
That's what's so dangerous about new Ura.
I know. He could blast you out, or he could do a Katatsukashi, or he could do one of those, what is it? Something Hineti, where he just uses his head and just
he does
throws
crazy
you
stuff.
off with his head.
He does crazy stuff. In Midorifuji's defense, he has been a consistent educator on obscure Kimerite, speaking of that.
True. He's going to have the record someday.
He's...
Like, no one's going to beat him.
There was a streak of, okay, this is the Kimerite that he taught us how to do.
Yeah.
So it's not like he doesn't have the tricks. It's how you make them work against the very, very, very best.
Right. Who are not going to let you anywhere near their shoulder.
Yeah. So maybe this is Midorifuji's lot in life. I'm with you. I'd love to see him make a break for it. I don't know if it would end up well for him, but
it'd be nice to see.
It'd be nice to see. Seeing how Kotonowaka is probably not going to be doing that anytime soon.
Don't think so.
And how poor Nishikifuji apparently is too injured to do anything.
And that may last for the entirety of his career.
So lacking Enho coming back on an absolute tear, which is not going to be anytime soon, even if he does go on an absolute tear. Right. And hopefully not on an absolute tear, if you know what I mean.
I do. Yeah, Midorifuji's our last hope for some small man sumo.
Last hope for now. So
till some new guy comes up.
Yeah, he is holding the small man line, and November is his chance to see how high he can go. Yes.
So next we have Shonana Umi, Maegashira 6 East, down from Maegashira 5 West, 7 and 8. There's a lot of guys in his position. Just a lot of guys fighting for ground, fighting to increase their worth, and maybe he's a little lost.
Yeah. So keep in mind, him and Gonoyama came in at the same time, doing really good sumo, and the only difference between them right now are 2 rungs. So he did have the 7 and 8. It's clearly that this is sort of there's a little bit of a struggle. But third Basho in the top division, he's in 6 East. It's I'm like you. I sort of got caught up in the 7 and 8. I got caught up on he's losing the momentum. Now he's struggling. Now I figured it out. But it's just like the refocus is 3 tournaments in, Hoshoryu was still in the double digits.
Right.
It's
just hard sometimes.
It is. Like we all want that. But, so 5 West is the ceiling. It's not a bad number. Right. And once he figures it out, he can push a little higher.
Right. It might be a slow build like some other guys.
A little slower of a build. Maybe, maybe he does something in November and now we're all paying attention to him again.
Right. That's how quickly it can happen.
So, yes. So, is Shonana Omi going to be anointed as the future of sumo? Not right now, but, 15 days into November, that could all change. Right. All change. There's still a lot of potential.
I use the example of Atami Fuji. Remember how nobody thought anything of him in this tournament because he was Yeah.
Well, the first time he was here in the top division,
he got knocked right back out.
And we're like, okay, well, that was nice.
We didn't even think about him when this tournament started. Like, we were like, oh yeah, Atami Fuji,
he's back.
Cool, have fun.
Yeah, show us what you can do, and we'll get back to you in a few months.
Exactly, and then he became like the darling of sumo. Yeah, like overnight. Everybody loves him.
Yeah, he's gonna have a very unenviable position.
I know, because as soon as they love you, they start to hate you. I know. Don't worry, Atami Fuji, your time will come.
Yeah. And for Shonana Umi, maybe his time will come in November as well, but we don't. It's all potential right now, one way or the other.
Exactly.
So I feel it's fine to sort of look away for a moment, but don't keep your eyes off him for too long.
Exactly, because you'll be caught unawares. I don't think we're going to get caught unawares with Takanosho. I think it's done. And what I mean by done is I just don't think he's going to be who we thought he was going to be.
He's not fighting at Sanyaku strength.
And I don't know that that's coming back. So he had just a small, I think they're trying to do him some favors here. Down from Maegashira 4 East to only Maegashira 6 West with a 6 and 9. Nothing looks promising with him.
Yeah. The best we can hope for is sort of a return to where he was, I feel like.
Right.
And
that would be his ceiling.
Yeah, it's a little rough because 4 East is very, very far away from Sekiwake on a lot of levels.
I just feel like, and I'm not putting any blame on anybody in particular because I don't know the situation, but just life is not good for the Takas. That's all I can say.
It's a rough show.
So many Takas, scandals, getting kicked out, head games, losing their coach. It's almost a doomed scenario. So poor Takanosho. I mean, I think he needed some more, a straighter path. I don't know. More guys to fight. There's not a whole lot of guys in that stable to even practice with. And anytime Takakeisho's out injured, who's he training with,
the best we can hope for is sort of treading water. And until he digs something out, I don't know. He's a little lost.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any signs of that changing, unfortunately.
Not yet. He's getting back up. It's not like he's a 7 and 8 at 12 anymore.
He kind of reminds me of Shodai, though.
It's a little
but without the second week Shodai to come boost him.
Oh, he's struggling.
He's Eeyore Shodai, all the time. So we'll see. I hope he surprises us. This is one where it's like, please prove me wrong.
I'd love to be proven wrong.
But it's not looking good.
No, it's not.
But we have now Hokuseiho gets a decent jump from Maegashira 11 West to Maegashira 7 East, 10 and 5. So he's got some nerves and he's got some challenges with that size of his. So on one hand, the 10 and 5 is like, yes, 10 and 5. On the other hand, there were so many matches where the outcome was a little uncertain.
Yeah, I feel like September was like proof both at the same time of here's the guy that Hakuho saw that he's going to groom into this great sumo person, and here's a guy who seems to have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
In the same tournament.
Amazing how two things like that can be true at the same time.
It is a hope of take those wins, that really great sumo that you guys did on some of those days, take that to heart, and run forward with that.
Right. Kind of forget all the stuff that didn't go right. Because it gives you no value at all. Like, usually you can learn something in losses. I feel like Hokuseiho can't learn much from his losses. They're just so weird. They are weird ways to lose. So, he's lucky because he's got Miyagi, the man with the plan, the brain of sumo. He's going to come up with something. But Hokuseiho has to execute. He's got to figure it out.
So at 7, he's in a nice, I'll say like a sort of a proving grounds. Because he's not high up enough that he's going to have to deal with the Ozeki. But he's high up enough that he's going to be dealing with people that if he's not learning these lessons, if he's not applying it, he is getting knocked right back down.
Right, and they're going to enjoy it.
So it feels like the perfect rank for him right now.
Yeah, because this is the time to see what he can do.
Because if he plants his feet, if he starts doing that really good sumo, then he's going to have to look for somebody who's going to deal with him. But if he's doing a lot of that weird tall man leaning, grabbing the belt and waiting, you're not
gonna get anything with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
you're gonna get a Katatsukashi.
Let's look at Gonoyama, Onosho. Takayasu's not gonna have a day with that.
Takayasu's not gonna do it. Gonoyama's not gonna do it. Onosho on a good day is not gonna do it.
No.
But he might be able to handle Takanosho. Midori Fuji's gonna Katatsukashi him.
Oh God, yeah. So like he's this again. It's like tailor fit, perfect rank for him right here.
Yes.
Right here. The challenge is there, not to the point that it's going to be unfair, but to the point where if we want that more of that 10 wins rather than that 5 losses, this is his moment.
Well, I'll tell you, Hokuseiho actually would be a really tough opponent for Takakeisho if he got stronger and less, because Takakeisho does not do good with these tall guys because he can't head-on-head clash with them because he gets hurt. They can just stand up. But if Hokuseiho doesn't build himself up, he's just going to get blasted out in the fourth row.
Here's the fun part. He does a 9 and 6, another 10 and 5. Welcome to January.
Yeah.
Hokuseiho versus Takakeisho.
Oh, boy.
It's exciting.
Way to test the new Yokozuna.
Hey, right? Here it comes.
Here I go. I'm jinxing. I just want to jinx right now. That's all I want to do. I don't care. I want to, make it happen. But anyway. So now we have Kinbozan, who's sort of a good, once again, we have this counterpower.
I love it when the East-West of the same rank have a very interlaced story like this.
Yes, this is the perfect one. Kinbozan, Maegashira 7 West.
Up from 10 East.
10 East, okay. 9 and 6, he's slowly improving, but he has the same nerve problems that Hokuseiho has, but totally different style of sumo, different body, different things he needs to work on. He's in a good testing ground as well, the 7 spot. These are the kind of guys that you have to beat if you want to be the guy. And these are beatable opponents, but they also could beat you. They're kind of they're more level.
They'll sense your weakness and they'll go after you.
You can't be soft.
Yeah.
Kinbozan, sometimes he feels a little soft to me.
That I feel like that's the fierceness that we were starting to see in September.
Yeah.
There are those moments that I was just like, ooh, he's getting in there. And that, again, you take that from September, you bring it forward.
And forget about all the bad stuff.
You forget about the bad stuff.
Yeah, he needs to put together some toughness because these guys will eat you alive. There's some pretty hungry dudes up here who are just get out of my way. So Kinbozan needs to just, that old saying, just move forward. No step backs, no weird pulls, just, you got this, man.
So I'm hoping that one of these two guys gets it.
Yeah, at least one of them.
At least one of them. Both is better, but if we can get a Kachikoshi out of either one of these two guys, I feel like that's another up and coming, something's going to happen.
Exactly. So next we have the mystery guy, Endo. Maegashira 8 East, up from Maegashira 10 West, 9 and 6. He's a very not know what you're going to get kind of guy because he's super, super talented. We say this all the time. He's talented enough that he could have been a Yokozuna if all sorts of other things came together. But it seems like he's getting a little more stable, maybe slowly. He's not doing a big jump. He's not in the Yusho contention per se. But he's putting something together. It's like he hasn't quite quit on us.
There's more of a consistency and a drive. And so beforehand, we would say 9 to 5 and a working day man. I really think now his only limitation are going to be people who are better than him.
Right. And unfortunately, that's growing in number.
The two problems is if he does too well, he's going to start hitting Sanyaku and they're just going to deal with him. And also the uptick of talent from above, from below, may start to push his ceiling down.
Right.
But he's had a nice, at least in the short term, consistent sumo, always putting forward a couple of matches that he really toughed it out and won it. So there's a sign of stability where there wasn't one before.
Right.
And at 8, open for progress because he can still go up a little bit further more before he really starts hitting the heavy hitters.
Right. Once he gets to 4, then it's going to be okay, I don't know if he can do it.
That's when he's going to be in Ozeki reigns. That's probably going to be the death toll for his progress.
Right. So right now he can kind of enjoy himself. Do the moves that he wants to do. Win the matches he wants to win. He always gets there's advertisements on his matches because, he's got the giant fan base. So win a couple matches, win some money.
Yeah.
Increase your popularity, do some more commercials,
He'll spark something. Maybe things will build out of this. But from where he is, it's the sort of no pressure either way.
Probably the best for him.
Yeah.
And, he can always surprise you with, he can beat an Ozeki. He can beat a Yokozuna.
Yeah, if he gets a full head of steam, maybe he pushes back up again, maybe something will happen. But for the time being, for November, for the imminent future, he'll be fighting good enough opponents for exciting matches, but beatable ones.
Right. Which is where he needs to be.
That's where he needs to be.
Now, we have a giant question mark with our next guy, Atamifuji. Maegashira 8 West gets the jump from Maegashira 15 East. I really had no clue how far up they were going to give him with him being so close to the Yusho. this was probably fair. So 11-4. Now, here's the problem. I do think he's a great talent, but because of what he did at the rank he was at, now he's got a giant target on his back.
He's got the unenviable position of the Yusho target without winning it.
Exactly.
So everybody's going to want to knock him down a peg. Everybody's going to want to deal with him, but at the same time, he's
still green.
He didn't get the Yusho. He doesn't have that rush, and he's still working through things.
Right. That's like the rising too fast kind of idea.
Yeah.
But conversely, he could use this opportunity to rise to the occasion. If he does that, then everything's great. But that's why I say there's a giant question mark, because we haven't seen enough of him to know, what is he going to do now that he has pressure? He had no pressure coming in.
Now it's all on him.
Right. He went from
all on him
to everything.
Yeah.
The fans have been nuts on the tours and stuff, cheering him, wanting autographs, not leaving him alone. Everybody knows who he is. How is that going to feel in a tournament?
This is what we're all going to find out. And like you said, it's a giant question mark. If he's as good as he was before, 8 West is not going to be too much of a problem for him. Shouldn't be. I mean, maybe a 9-6, 8-7 kind of a deal. But now he has all the pressure. Now there's the expectation. Now everybody's going to go nuts for him.
Yeah.
So can you handle the pressure, Atamifuji? That is the big question.
Right.
Almost
Brand new situation.
Almost more than his Sumo. Because I feel like he's proved he has the talent. It's just now there's the pressure.
Right. And this is the typical cocktail for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
First there's the, look at all my skills. And it's like, look at all my skills under pressure. Like, he's just going through the normal sumo journey. Just way quicker than some other people. This is how it goes sometimes.
Fast lane.
So, I'm not even going to venture a guess because I don't know him well enough. I do think that he is capable of going either way. I think it could be another great tournament. I don't necessarily see Yusho again. Could be wrong. But I could also see the pressure getting to him and him having a crash.
Maybe not a complete crash up, but definitely a stumbling block.
5 and 10 or something.
I don't think we'll get that. I think
I
it'll
hope not.
6 and 9.
6 and 9.
6 and 9. I feel he's barring injury, knock on wood. I think he's at least good enough that he'll just flail around a bit, but he'll still at least hold something.
I'm kind of predicting an 8 and 7.
That'd be fine.
That'd be
fine. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
It'll temper the expectations, and he can sort of get back to normal.
Right, and if he does beyond that, then great.
That'd be great.
Exactly. So we will see. Next we have Miyoguru, who shattered all my expectations and gets a giant jump from Maegashira 13 East to Maegashira 9 East. 10 and 5. I had him written off because he was starting to look very veteran-y, very injured, slower. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to do a 10 and 5. You just don't know what some of these guys.
He pulled himself together. He got some new fountain of energy. So he goes from the bottom to the top of the finger quotes veteran zone. So from here, this is another good spot for him because if it was like a spark and fade, then a 9 East, he's not going to fall too far. And if he does, he'll still be in the top division.
Right.
Whereas at the single digits, the very end of the top, he's going to be fighting people who, if he is hitting a resurgence, he should be able to beat. Very exciting. It's weird to see like this 6 to 10 being so interesting.
Right, just being sort of the backbone of the tournament.
Yeah.
Because everything that happens here determines everything else, but nobody is a standout star yet.
Exactly.
It's just kind of all fighting for position. So
yeah, like this group right here that's on the screen. Right here, this. So they'll be hit and miss usually. It'll be like, oh yeah, that guy. We'll see how he goes. But like right now, like all these people were like, maybe not Takakeisho, but all the other people were looking at him and were like, okay, let's see. What are you gonna do? Yeah. Yeah, I mean that trickles down a little bit too, like down here. But we haven't gotten to them yet. But there's a lot of interesting story threads going into November, and there's a lot of expectation for these people to end on a good note. So we're gonna have some real consistent, interesting matches, basically from top to bottom.
And we some, resurgence. Like, we might get a very interesting Yusho race. I guarantee we're getting a very interesting Yusho race. No matter what. Like, can you picture right now who's going to be in the top 3? I can't. Because we never know what our Ozeki are going to do.
That's true.
We really don't. With somebody like a Fuji being in the Yusho race, if there's no dominating Terunofuji, we have no idea what's going to happen. One of these middle guys, you just...
Could go on a breakaway. I don't
think they will, but you never know.
Well, Fuji and a really, really fired up Hokuseiho maybe.
Hokuseiho could really surprise us. He has such a potential to do so.
So there's a couple of people that maybe they go along with it. Maybe they do a double digits and then they get thrown to the wolves a little bit. A little bit of that. A little bit of that. We'll see.
I don't think it's going to be Miyogido, but he still has surprised us, and the sky's the limit for him.
Right now, yeah. I feel like he's got a little bit more runway before things really start getting bad for him. So this is his potential to prove to us that it wasn't just a one basho pony in September.
So I would say in this case, Takayumi probably is a good pairing for him. Maegashira 9 West, up from Maegashira 11 East, 9 and 6. So he's starting to look a little bit like
This was, yeah. This was one of the really positive feelings that come out of September for me, is that Takayumi starting to look like himself again, which we haven't seen this. We haven't seen this since he fell out of Ozeki.
Right. Just so many obstacles for him to overcome between losing Ozeki, losing his father, struggling, just trying to find his place. It seemed like for a moment, Takayumi knew who he was again. And I can only hope that continues.
This is, well, again, a lot of times we're saying, okay, now this is your chance to X in November. So for Takayumi, if we see him back, even if it's another 9 and 6 or an 8 and 7 for that matter, if we see him fighting and like the way he's fighting, the urgency, the aggression, the creativity that I'll say Sekiwake Takayumi had, that'll be like, okay, maybe he's back. And then maybe we can pick himself back up, because where Shodai, I don't know if he'll ever be Ozeki again. If Takayumi can get his stuff back together, yeah, well, maybe Sekiwake super maybe Ozeki, but I would say it's a non-zero number for him.
It is. I think he could go back to the Sanyaku if he could just, chase the demons away and just get really focused, because he's talented enough. I really do think injuries are why he got knocked out of Ozeki. I don't think it was lack of talent. I think the competition gets so much harder and you get hurt, you get beat up,
you get smashed.
You gotta be real tough. I think all these guys have learned this lesson. Kirishima and Hoshoryu, I think they've learned already in their short time. You better be tough. You better be willing to take a beating.
Yeah.
That's what Ozeki
You get no off days.
No off days, no guts, no glory, all the cliches. So Takayumi can get back to Sanyaku, but he does need to buckle down and sort of just not let the negative stuff come in.
And that's
the only way.
Yep. November is his first chance, I feel like, in a long time, for us to have hope for him.
Yeah, it's nice to have.
Nice to have the hope.
So we'll see. We'll see what he does. I have a good feeling for this tournament, but we'll see. Next we have Ryuden, Maegashira 10 East, down from 6 West, 6 and 9. So Ryuden's back in a better position. He's been very inconsistent. Like,
he's had issues.
Yeah, like it seemed like he finally figured it all out and he rose up high, and then it just all fell apart.
House of cards on him. It was
just like
it was rough.
Before he rose.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see the collapse again, but like you said, this is a comfortable spot if he has any sort of the old Ryuden in him.
If he can gather it together, this is a good rally point for him. And they're like, there's the buffer. So like if he is still in a bit of a free fall, something bad in November, he's not going to fall out into Juryo.
Right. He shouldn't.
I don't
think there's enough Juryo guys to threaten at this point.
Probably not.
Like the last tournament,
yeah.
There was a lot of guys who wanted the spots. So some guys
fell a little further. Yeah. He's still safe in the top division. I feel like at this place he's going to find people that aren't going to know what to do with him. Yeah.
It's just to his benefit.
Very much to his benefit. Some people they're not going to even know what's going to hit him until Ryuden's dragging him out of the ring.
Exactly.
So
he should be in an advantageous position.
It's been a comfortable spot. Get a Kachikoshi, stem the bleeding, regroup, push back forward. This is the hopeful way Ryuden gets things together.
Exactly. This once again another good pairing. Koto Echo, Maegashira 10 West, down for Maegashira 8 East, 6 and 9. So Koto Echo, we only had a brief moment where it seemed like maybe he had figured it out. Now he's kind of back to where he's been for quite some time. He should be okay here. He should be able to excel a little bit even. But I don't know that we're going to get...
It feels like 8 to 10 is his ceiling.
Right.
It feels like he can't break past that. And if he wants to break past that, he's going to need to figure something out. So Midori Fuji, the two of them have a very similar story. It's just that Midori Fuji has a few more tricks up his sleeve that he can execute really well.
I don't think Kotonowaka executes well. I think he starts off good, and then it just kind of crumbles. I mean, when he gets enough of the oomph, he can muscle you out. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
said it before. He doesn't always look like a sumo wrestler.
He doesn't have that ace card.
No ace cards for him.
So
you can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna do a pick."
It's he's scrappy. He's spirited. He's got more power than he did before. He has the ability to surprise you. He can get out of situations. So it's a list of he can X.
Right.
But that signature something. Not quite that. Like he's got some, he's got some kings, a couple of king cards, something that looks really good. But it's that Midori Fuji's got the Katsukashi. He's got that mind, the ability to pull these techniques out. That's what got him a few rungs higher. And even with that, but he still has his own issues up top. So it's not like this is the answer. And the answer isn't to learn a Katsukashi. It's just the Katsukashi will get Kotonowaka up to 5 instead of 8. This is
his lot in life, it appears.
This is, and every sumo guy has their own journey, their own struggles, their own ceiling. I mean, if everybody was Hakuho, this would be a boring sport.
Exactly. I mean, somebody's got to be in this sort of realm to fight, and I think that's where Kotonowaka is.
Yeah. So for the time being, that ace card doesn't seem to be there. Until he does, the best he can sort of do, hold position.
Yeah.
Try to go to Juryo, maintain, and then every tournament is a chance to prove yourself. Every time after the tournament is a chance to learn something new.
Right.
That's the loop he's stuck in, unfortunately. But that's every day you're on the Banzuke.
Just be grateful.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Exactly. So next we have Sadano Umi, Maegashira 11 East, up from Maegashira 12 West, 8 and 7. So he's holding on. He's in the veteran class. He was looking pretty good for a while, but now you're starting to see it slide.
This is a very, very rough 8 and 7 for me.
Yeah,
it's
not a 8 and 7. It's an
8 and 7 could have been better, but again,
But for him, maybe this was the best he could do.
I was just like, no, he's better than this, and that's when that's when I realized that the 8 and 7 has been his best record this entire year. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, he got kicked out of the band last year.
Oh.
He keeps trying to get back in, but.
Yeah, so I sort of in the back of my mind, I was starting to second guess myself. So like you had that moment with Meisei. It's just like, how do you know he's a hard worker? Like for me, seeing that 8 and 7 was his best record in 2023, I'm like, how long have I been denying this to myself? Oh man, I was just like, I thought Sadano Umi was just like an inch away from snapping it all back and making his run again, but a little bit of a harsh reality for me. But he is in the veteran zone.
Right. So I mean, for a veteran, it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
Negative. I mean, because he could retire at any time.
Yeah.
So to just get these 8 and 7s and continue on is a positive in and of itself.
Yeah. So we have Nishikigi as the new upper watermark. up there. Yep. So now Sadanomi's not the upper watermark like I thought him to be, unfortunately. Like I'm hoping he still is somewhere. But on the flip side, if he's just a really talented veteran and he's not going to Okinomi on us, right, then maybe he's in a good spot. And like we were mentioning before with Ryuden, he's going to be fighting all the new guys.
Right.
And
this is a place where he should.
And Sadanomi's going to be really dangerous for somebody who's not ready for a Sadanomi.
Right, exactly. They're not going to be used to the veteran trick.
They're not. Welcome.
Unless they're really good and they prove us wrong.
No, there's a couple of people. There's a couple of people. There's
going up and who I think is going
to. There's at least one name on that list. I'm going to bet the house on.
I wonder if it's the same name.
Maybe, just maybe.
So, good luck, Sadanomi, and welcome Hiromi to the conversation. Maegashira 11 West, down from Maegashira 8 West, 6 and 9. So, something's going on.
He's losing the shine. He
had a lot of problems.
He had a lot of shine. He was gonna be my Gonoyama. Yeah. He was gonna be the guy who's like, I saw him every time. It's almost frustrating because like he's still energetic. He's still fun to watch. It's that
nothing's changed.
It's that Hokutofuji style, 100% of it in the dohyo every day.
You love those guys.
I love those guys. That's my jam.
Yep.
But it's more of a struggle. It's more of a flail than a dance nowadays. And I'm just hoping that he's sort of spinning his wheels a little bit. Hit a point and it's just like things aren't working out. You plateau. You're trying some things don't work. And when you get into that plateau, that rut, you start to regress. And it's not because you're getting worse. It's just because you can't find the way forward.
Right. In baseball terms, you'd call it a slump.
It's a slump. Yeah.
You go like 20 days without a hit or something like that, and you're like, I'm never going to hit the ball again. And then something clicks, and then it just all goes back to normal. And I feel like that's kind of where he's at. It's just a slump. But always trying to figure out how to get out of it can make you insane.
Yeah.
It can actually make it take longer to get out of it.
So it is one of those things like that. Some people they'll slump for like a year.
Right.
A year, and it's just, and then they hit one home run, or just like it's over.
And then it's like, oh, and I struck out the next at bat.
Yeah.
So Hiromi maybe needs to be nice and patient with himself.
A little bit of patience, a little temper, a bit, but he's figuring it out. I think it's only been a year. Still a younger guy, definitely not a hot shot at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
no,
there's so many hot shots. This is what happens.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, you can only have so many.
Exactly. So you never know. He might turn it around.
Yeah. Yep. So for him, sort of like with Shodai, I'm just gonna let you do your thing. You prove me wrong, but for now, I'm just like, you need to learn, absorb, get out of your slump. So for November, just do your best. Do what you can. Do what you can.
Eat your vitamins.
Yeah. Foot stamps.
Exactly.
Let's get out there.
Vitamins.
Get out there.
So next we have Oho, Maegashira 12 East, down from Maegashira 7 West, 5 and 10. Oho's a mess.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on Oho. He is a mess. He's a talented young guy who doesn't know what he is doing.
It was interesting because Hoshoryu called him out, probably because there was the Hoshoryu Slayer showed up.
Yep.
It feels like so long ago, but it was this year.
Right.
This year, look at Oho. He had that 9-1, 10-0 deal. We're like, oh my god, he's finally making his move, and now he's just exactly where we found him.
Yep. He cannot seem to figure it out.
Yep. It's almost worse when they figure it out and then it falls away.
Right, because you're like, okay, did I really figure it out?
Yeah.
Or was it a fluke? And we know it's not a fluke with Oho.
He's too talented for it to be a fluke.
He's just, it takes, like we always say, it takes so much.
You need a little bit of everything.
I think Oho has problems in a lot of different areas. I think mentally, he probably second guesses too much, and I think that his sumo is not as crisp as
no.
Hoshoryu.
Yeah.
A little bit of a choppiness to it.
It's a lot of reactive.
Exactly.
So we had mentioned in the wrap up that a lot of Oho's wins were against smaller people, so he may need to be bulking up. And that was something we've been saying about him for a little while.
It's
so
hard truth, right? If you're gonna fight monsters, you gotta get big.
Gotta get big.
Or you better learn how to like scotch.
Yeah. Well, it's also weird saying that because Oho's a big dude.
He's a big dude, but he fights like a small man.
He's got like Kageyaki syndrome. He's got the power, he just can't use it.
Right. He literally can't do anything with what he has.
So yeah, that goes back to what you said. He's a mess. It's just like he needs a lot of things.
He said, go back to the drawing board and just try again.
Feels like it. I don't know.
That never seems to work out,
and so we're in this weird spot. Also, that now we know, like even if he does well in November, he gets a 10-5 or something like that. We're still like, you do it in January and then we can talk.
One tournament is not going to cut it.
It's not.
You're just not even going to look. We cannot look at Oho at all.
No.
Unless he puts together at least 2. But even then, I would say it needs to be 3.
Yeah, it's frustrating almost. It's like, oh, I want you to do well, and I don't want to. It's like your kid just gets caught one too many times in the cookie jar.
And you're like, when are you going to learn?
Yeah, you're gonna learn. And so like then you
keep punishing
you
until you stop doing this.
Then you see the kids like lurking into the kitchen, and you're like, I want to trust you, but
I can't.
I gotta go in the kitchen. I gotta go watch you now.
Hide the cookies.
This is where we're at with him. We want him. We want it.
You're somebody who needs to prove us wrong. But
Good.
now. Tomorrow, like now.
This is the thing. Like 10-5 in November. What are we gonna say?
Nothing.
It sucks.
We can say nothing.
We can't.
Short of a U show, we can say nothing about Oho, regardless of what score.
We're stuck. We're in this bad place.
We're in a bad place.
It's a dark land.
It is. You're wandering in the forest.
I don't.
Fire.
I feel.
Okay?
It's hard to find that path to success for him. It's grates against me. Great. Oho, please help me.
Yeah.
Help me.
Please, we need help.
Send R2D2 out. We got to get Ben Kenobi.
Exactly.
We need hope.
Give us the hope.
Give us the hope, please.
Speaking of no hope.
Oh.
I don't want to say there's no hope, but boy, this is a punch in the gut. Tamawashi, -year 12 West, down from 3 West, 2-13.
This was a dump. This was
gonna happen someday, but it just felt like it wasn't, because Tamawashi had been the immortal one for so long that I can't even handle that it's coming. It's finally coming.
I am telling myself this. It's like, okay, no big deal. He's so low down that 50% of Tamawashi is going to smash people out. But, so what I'm going to say is, week 1, we will know. Yeah. We will know. So, again, to take the panic out of my own heart, the fear of losing him so quickly, and I'm saying to myself, nothing matters. You can think whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. But you got that 7-day stretch, and that 7 days is going to tell you everything you need to know.
Right. It's like right now we're just in a holding pattern.
We're in a holding pattern right now. It's your friend is in the surgery.
Right.
It was a bad car accident. You don't panic. You just sitting there. You're like, he's okay right now. There's no way of knowing. Doctors could come out in a few hours, but for now, we're cool. Everything's cool.
Exactly.
May not have been the best analogy. Apologies to anybody who's actually been through that.
But when the doctor comes out, then it's game time.
Yeah.
And that's week 1 for Tamawashi.
Yes, that's it. We're gonna know. So day 7, if he's 2-5, yeah. If he's 5-2,
great.
Thumbs up.
Exactly. So
just don't panic. Don't panic. Don't. I know. Don't.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Don't look at the Banzuke and have weird thoughts. We're fine.
Yeah, he actually totally threw the guess the Banzuke. I'm like, where are they gonna put him? This was the hardest one to start on. That's all I'm gonna say.
It was a rough start for you.
The 6 people down. How would I know that?
Oh my God.
Tamawashi
dumping.
Asanoyama.
Door shut.
Not gonna get Tanya. I mean, come on. I will take I was down towards the bottom, guys. Okay, like very bottom. But anyway, I digress. I have to get over it. Kotofuji, Maegashira 13 East, down from Maegashira 12 East, 7 and 8. So, I mean, Takakeisho is in that part of his career.
Yeah.
We're not looking at too many soars up, but we're also not looking at any 2 and 13s yet.
No.
So 7 and 8 for him is okay.
It's okay. It's just like, it's good. Also, there again, whenever we see that spirit come out of him, like when he goes for the Yotsuzuma, when he gives him the power, like, okay, he still got it. Yeah. Not, 7 and 8 still Makikoshi, but his 7 and 8 felt a lot better than Sada no Omi's 8 and 7. Because, like you said, where they are in their career, what you're expecting out of them, where
these wins come about.
Yeah.
Because the fighting spirit has to stay inside of you for you to stay in sumo.
Yes.
And it feels like Takakeisho's burning has not gone out yet.
He's holding on to it.
But like the Tamawashi conversation, there's just gonna be a day where we come in and he's gone.
Yeah.
So I think we gotta enjoy the 7 and 8. We have to enjoy the time we have with him. I'm going to look forward to immensely watching him fight the giant list of newcomers. He's fighting every single one. Yep, this is where he shines. If he doesn't shine this time, either they're amazing monsters or Takakeisho's having a rough.
There's a couple monsters, to be fair to him.
A couple monsters. That's why I brought that up as an option.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
I'm not going to poo-poo all the new guys. One of these new guys could be in the Yusho race for all I know. Yeah. Exactly. You can't see us. But let's just say, we're hoping for luck on
yeah.
So now we have Tsurugisho, who just did what he needed to do to not be, the 7th person down. Maegashira 13 West, up from Maegashira 16 West, 8 and 7. So him all the way down at 16. If he couldn't pull off that 8 and 7, he was one of the ones that's going to be going.
I'm still mad about September and what they did to him. I'm not.
Why they have a grudge against Tsurugisho?
I didn't get over. It's a Kiseyama for me all over again.
Yeah.
Like nine times out of 10, I'd say almost 99 times out of 100, something bad happens and whatever. Yeah, like the whole Wakakmotoharu versus Terunofuji belt scandal. Yeah. He won and they lost. Like, I was mad about that and I walked away. But this one, I was like, those sons of... It's stuck in my... So I'm hoping come January I can shake this off and that Tsurugisho helps me.
You need a whole other tournament.
Tsurugisho, like, what I'm hoping out of him is that he gets like a nice good 8 and 7 and 9 and 6. Yeah. Like, just clean, honest, not the Banzuke people just treating him like trash. Matchmaking people. The Banzuke people had to apologize for the match. You get it. So, optimistic he'll be fine.
He still seems to have it.
Still seems to have it. Still seems to bring it.
Yeah. He's
not
fading quite yet.
Stop throwing him the Sanyaku, you jerks.
Well, we might say that they just highly respect him. if I'm being...
Fair, okay.
I'm being cheeky.
Apology accepted. Such great. Okay, fine. You win. We'll do that.
Sometimes I gotta be that guy.
We'll do that. Yeah. So, give him some good stuff. Again, 8 and 7, 9 and 6. I'll forget this all happened.
Exactly.
Actually, that's not true. I'm still mad about a Kiseyama too.
If you could see John's face, you would know. He's got an axe to grind.
We're fine though. We're fine. Cause 13 West is the buffer. He can give it like
He's all right.
He gets 6 and 9. Even he'd be fine. It's whatever.
Now.
Okay.
3
years to the tournament.
4.
Whoa. It was 2019.
So that's more than 3 years.
Hang on. Let's confirm.
Time is just flying by.
Let's confirm. It was November. It was November of 2019. 4 years. 4 years to the tournament.
We've been waiting 4 years to the tournament for the return of Tomokaze. Some of you might not even been into sumo when Tomokaze was doing his thing.
This predates our sumo podcast.
It does.
Our love for him.
Exactly. we were loving him before we even decided we were going to have a podcast. The interesting thing is going to be, so after 4 years, what kind of shape is he in? Like, he's not the man he was in 2019.
No.
He can't
It's another Ura situation that
he's got that experience of the tough fight. Will that give him something that the old Tomokaze didn't have? So he had an 11-4. Was he wasn't the runner-up, but he was third place. So he was in the U show for a little while. This is a good thing, some pressure, some being on the top. But it's just different. It's just different once you're in the upper division. He's had his taste of it, but that was 4 years.
It's 4 years ago. The world has changed.
Everybody's different.
Everything's different, and it's gonna be like new. But we're gonna, so the prospects come up, and we're gonna be talking about this with a lot of the other people who are new, and we're like, are you the good stuff?
Right.
It's always a question. It's a fun question. It's because watching the transition is just another fun aspect of sumo. But for him, it's just like we know the answer.
It's not quite as bad as Asanoyama, but in a way, Tomokaze can't be happy with anything less than where he left off. This is a return.
It's like with Terunofuji, like him coming back, like it's just like sort of every time he was back, it was a victory. Yeah. It's just like he's back in Juryo, it's a victory. He's back in the top division, it was a victory. He won the Yusho, it was a victory. In Sanyaku, in Ozeki, made it to Yokozuna. Like every step along the way was a celebration. That's the way I'm feeling it with this for him.
Yeah.
And so like in the back of Terunofuji's mind, it's the exact same as Asanoyama. It's just like I want back. But at the same time, it was like the adversity along the way. It's just like Tomokaze can just be here, and that's the last we see of him, and we'll be like, it's amazing.
Yeah, because who knows if you were ever
yeah,
going to see him.
And that's sort of all the way down, Jonakochi. Ouch.
Yeah, like he had a hard climb back, the long, slow way.
Yeah, and there was like wins and losses, and he had Makakoshis, other injuries. He had to relearn fighting, and the story.
This was way worse than Terunofuji because Terunofuji was Ozeki. Tomokaze was in the beginning of his career. He hadn't even had a chance to learn.
Cut down before his prime.
Right. So now it's like, what's it gonna be? I don't know. I don't even know if I wanna venture a guess because it's too raw. Yeah,
I am channeling that Terunofuji Ura Cinderella story kind of a deal. That they're gonna Tochinoshin, all the people who fall and then rise again like a phoenix from the ashes. Yes. Like that is what I hope for him. But like for November, it's like on day 1, I see him, like just to see. Also, like I want him to have one win. And I just want to hear the Gyoji be like, Tomokaze! And then he does the thing that he swipes his arm and he stands up and he leaves. I want that once. That's it.
Yes. And then everything is a bonus after that.
1 in 14. That's my ask.
Okay.
We're going to get more.
We're going to get more than that.
But
this is going to be good. This is going to be really good. I'm going to think very, very positive because we've been waiting for so long for Tomokaze to be Tomokaze again.
Yeah. And then again, like, this is my basement feeling. And then we get Tomokaze Sumo. From there, sky's the limit.
Exactly. So now we have. I kind of feel like all the new guys are question marks, but we'll see. Ichi Yamamoto, Maegashira 14 West, up for Maegashira 7 West, wins the Juryo U show. So
I know, right?
Okay, I'm not a believer yet. You believed in Ichi Yamamoto for so long.
He let me down.
He let you down to a point where you gave up and you just forgot about him, and then he wins the U show.
This is definitely the you're driving, you're sailing along, and then there's the shot across your front bow from the ship, and up comes the pirate flag, and you're like, oh, it's a fight. Uh-oh, it's a fight time. You reach for the sword. That's what I'm feeling like. He's just like, he is announcing that he's back and that he is going to be better than he was before.
And we're going to see.
I mean,
it takes a lot to win the U show, even if it's Juryo. So this would give him something a little bit more confidence than otherwise.
Yeah.
This isn't the guy who he shouldn't be the guy anymore that kept bouncing back between Juryo and upper division. He's a Yusho winner.
Yeah, I mean that's it means a lot, and it's it's hard to win Juryo Yusho guys.
Right, especially because he had some competition.
It was really rough for him. So I'm trying to remain optimistic. I'm gonna let the wounds, the scars of the past be in the past, and I'll be like, okay, Nuichi Yamamoto, Juryo Yusho, fresh slate. Here's his chance to storm back and be better than ever.
We're gonna get an Ichi Yamamoto Atami Fuji match.
That would be great, and it's also they're in range.
They're in range.
This
is gonna be an interesting tournament.
Oh, there's gonna be so much.
All these new guys, come on, somebody's gotta be the guy.
Well, somebody's got to be the guy, and somebody is gonna eat dirt.
And you better hope it's not Ichi Yamamoto. Because boy, that'd be a
Oh man.
We don't want bad things for people.
No. No.
Could you imagine 2-13? He's back in jury.
I'd be a weird mixture of emotions on that one.
Yeah.
I would know.
Yeah. So
that's.
I'm not placing any bets.
That's one of those times that you just wake up 3 hours before your alarm. You just stare at the ceiling.
Exactly.
What have you done to me, Ichi Yamamoto? What did you done to me?
Where have I gone?
I know.
I can't sleep ever again.
Yeah, I am remaining at least mildly optimistic that you don't win the Juryo Yusho without having something, and then November will give us the rest.
Yes, November we're gonna have a lot of questions answered very quickly, I think. And one of those questions would be one of our brand newcomers, Hoshoryu, who's very popular with the 42 Opinions group. Maegashira 15 East, up from Juryo 4 West, 10-5. So he's been trying so hard.
A lot of Juryo 1 Makakoshi's very rough, very scraping,
reaching up, almost to reach the surface of the water, and then you just
sink back down, dragged back.
Yeah, you're pulled down by an octopus. Going with this pirate theme. That could go either way. Either he's going to feel the feelings of, I finally did it, let me prove myself, or it's going to be too big of a burden to overcome.
It's going to be decisive either way.
Yeah, it's going to be cut and dry, no questions.
No questions.
Probably we'll find out in the first week as well.
Maybe.
I mean, it'd be gut-wrenching if it was like a 7-8 on day 15. Let's not have one.
Well, good news for that is, if it is a 7-8 on day 15, he stays in the top division.
True. So we'll say 6-9.
6-9. 5-10 even.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, the 5-10, that's how we'll know in the first week, to your point.
Exactly. So, honestly, I don't feel comfortable making a guess on Hoshoryu also, because this is my first time really seeing him. I watched the Juryo matches, but you don't count that, because until you're in the top division,
it's a different feeling.
Right. You're starting over again. You're absolutely starting all over again. So, best of luck. Hope you're one of the ones to rise, because now we have another one to talk about. Okay, he's got a hard name to pronounce for me.
Churanoumi.
Those, you throw an R in there. Come on, man. Throw an R in the middle like that. Maegashira 15 and West, up from Juryo 5 East, 10-5. He's one of the ones that was. Is he gonna rise? Are they gonna demote that many people?
He was on the cusp. I'm
on the cusp.
A little shocked, but the double-digit wins, and I think they just wanted to clean house.
I think they wanted to send a message like, okay, we're done fooling around.
Yeah.
Let's give some of these new guys a shot. I mean, almost everybody in the live streams are telling me there was the two opposites. Some people are like, they're going to get rid of everybody. And there were people like, no way. They're not going to do that.
It's wild.
So we got the extreme.
So he is not going to say better lucky than good, but certainly was in the right place at the right time.
Right. He did what he needed to do.
He did what he needed to do.
To be put into that position.
So he would, historically, at least looking at the records, and as we say all the time, the records only tell you so much of the story, but it seems like he was still getting his feet in Juryo.
Yeah.
And
now he's going to get an opportunity.
And now he's all the way up. So it's one of those things that are you gonna sort of just, run off like a thief in the night and just go for it? Are you going to get a rude awakening?
You know, it's a perfect combination to Hokutofuji and Shiromi because the 10 and 5s are just worlds apart.
Yeah.
Worlds apart, Juryo 10 and 5s. If everything makes perfect sense, boy, this name is killing me. Chuadano Umi is back in Juryo after just one step.
Yeah, he just.
Hokutofuji is ascending up.
It's what it. You look at it, you're just like, that's what it is on paper.
And that's the thing. Paper,
yep.
Story.
Yep.
So once again.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. He's gonna need the luck.
He's gonna need the luck way more than everybody else. Now, with that said, our next guy, Roga, Magashiro 16 East, up for Magashiro Juryo 1 East, 8 and 7. So here's a hot prospect that's been coming for a while, but he's the one that had like the worst score. He just happened to be in the best spot.
Yep. He's.
So he's not coming in like hot.
Yeah.
And he's coming in like I scraped in.
He's also not had a Makakoshi in Juryo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, here, check this out. I found this fascinating because I looked at the 8 and 7. I had the immediate reaction. I'm like, oh, he barely scraped it. And knowing he's a hot prospect, also he's got a wolf on the.
Oh boy,
he's
everything to you.
I'm a fan of wolves. Also, it looks really cool. But like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh.
Just slow, steady progress. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at this. Here we go. We got to go back.
Wow.
We got to go back to January 2022 if we want to find a Makakoshi.
And we've been looking for somebody to be.
This is steady. Now, down here is a little bit worse, but yeah, look at it. Look at 8, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, yeah. So this is.
That's promising.
This is a rock.
Yeah.
I found that fascinating.
That is fascinating. I didn't realize that. So
Yeah.
maybe slow and steady wins the race in this.
This is what I'm feeling. Now he's a little bit lower down, so he doesn't have a lot of buffer width. But if he's a guy who is as good as he's being touted as, which seems like he is, and also somebody who got up here, and you feel like even if he did have that, if he was like at Juryo 2 and he got the 8 and 7 and he put him back up, like he would just be back in January. Like it feels like it's just the way the progress is for him.
Now what's interesting too is all these new guys, they're all next to each other. They're all going to fight each other. So
it's going to be
it's like Juryo
top division Juryo, yeah.
Exactly. That's not typical. It's usually 1 or 2 guys. So like these guys are going to have a little bit of an advantage being able to fight a lot of guys they've fought before.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's got to take advantage of that advantage. Somebody's got to win against all these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you really, you want to be the top guy, you need to win when you're supposed to win. So, like Ichi Yamamoto, if he's really Juryo Yusho guy, he should beat every single one of these guys.
That's a good point. That'd be 4 or 5 wins.
And then he puts himself in a great position.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Tomokaze. Tomokaze, you need to beat every single one of these guys. Do not lose to a single Juryo man. That starts off your tournament just the way you want it to be. So these guys are in a super advantage right now, and somebody better take advantage of that.
So, well, maybe it's Roga.
It could be Roga. So we'll see. And now we got to get to one more guy who's been around for a while before we get to talk about the last guy. Nishiki Fuji, Magashiro 16 West, down from 13 West, 5 and 10. So he's made it very clear in interviews and everything else. He's hurt.
Yeah.
And he's a small guy. What are you going to do? All you can do is grind it out. He's hurt. He's fighting as hard as he can. He's got a lot of heart. But what can his body actually do? We can only wait and see in the tournament.
Yeah, unfortunately, the injuries tell the story.
Yeah, sometimes they dictate.
And he was, spared, so we get to see him one more time. It's one of those things, like, if it's out of his control, then what are you gonna do? There's only so much. If you're just so banged up that you can't handle anything, then you
think of the Ikiois, the Terunofuji's.
Yeah, you just
Terunofuji, excuse me.
You're just out of luck. Takayama,
who apparently has lost an amazing amount of weight.
Yeah, there is a you hit a point, and sort of like your mindset is, you're just like, well, if I just ate all day, I'd be 500 pounds.
Right.
A bit of an American mindset, perhaps. but the amount of training and energy those guys go through, they have to eat even more to keep the weight to going on. And then there's a lot of nutrition in the diet, and you need to take a nap in order to metabolize the food differently. All that stuff is what actually keeps the weight on.
Right, because the amount of training they do, the average person would not be able to keep the weight. That's
No.
why you have some of these skinny guys, because they cannot.
They can't keep the weight. So that's in the back of your mind. It's like, oh yeah, you eat all this stuff and then you stop training. You must just keep the weight on. But we stop the training, but then you don't need to eat as much,
right,
and the weight just falls right off.
Right. But on a plus side for Nishikifuji, his wife just welcomed twins.
Congratulations.
So we always talk about sometimes the external factors give you a little boost.
The family boost.
So hopefully, he even said, I'm fighting for my children, fighting for my new family. This is a cool thing. Maybe he can gut out a 7 and 8.
Yeah.
I don't know if 7 and 8 might not keep him in. Gut out an 8 and 7, and we get to see him just a little bit longer. But he needs some serious recovery.
He needs some recovery, and so the good news is for him that if he does fall down in the Juryo, gets his injury sorted out, 6 months from now, maybe comes back. Exactly.
So we gotta think positive.
Gotta think positive. So for now, it's the twins. It's fighting for the family. It's that family energy.
Yep.
And then if things don't go our way, then come back to us in May, July. No more bandages, and he's tiny Terunofuji all over again.
Exactly.
We got good news going for him. He's also young.
Right. He's got time.
Got time. Don't worry.
So our final man, Kotonowaka, Maegashira 17 East, up from Juryo 2 East, 8 and 7. So he takes Aoyama's spot.
He does. I am.
It's some tough shoes to fill.
I am trying my best not to hold it against him.
Oh boy, Greg John is back again.
It's not his fault.
It's not his
fault. It's fine. So it's also it's give and take. If they called me up, they're never gonna call me up. And they said, we can do you one of two things. Either one, we're going to over-promote Tsurugisho on his 8 and 7, or we're going to keep Aoyama in the top division. I mean, I would say I hate you for making me make that decision, but I would pick Tsurugisho. So
they didn't crush you.
They didn't crush me. I'm still peeved that was even a choice. And we to be fair, also we all knew where Asanoyama was going. Yeah. So. Am I going to be mad? Also, we get to see Kotonowaka, so that's a big plus.
Right, maybe he really shows us something, and you'd be like, I'm so glad he
Yeah, it's a change in the guard, Kaisei always has to go down. You know how it is.
Kaisei is having a great career now, doing all these cool, fun things on
Sumo Prime Time, yeah.
He's apparently a favorite. Everybody loves Kaisei now. I don't know if everybody appreciated him the way you did when he was here, but now they do.
When more people are Kaisei fans, I win.
Exactly.
I'm fine.
And that's gonna be Aoyama at some point too. I
Yeah.
don't know if he's not as personable as Kaisei, but could you imagine the two of them hanging out and doing a skit?
That'd be a good Sumo Prime Time.
That would be excellent. We are floating this idea out.
Yeah. Hey, Hiro, come on.
Hero.
Come on, Hiro.
Just get Aoyama, find out when he's gonna retire. Be like, yo.
Don't even need to wait that long. Just get him out there. Hey. Hey, he's a Juryo guy. He's got more time in his calendar. Look at it. Just saying. All right. So, in any case, Kotonowaka is a new prospect, but he's again one of the people that a lot of people talk about when they're talking about up and coming stars. And so, I'm looking forward to seeing if he's worth the hype. And it seems like he is. And like you said, if Kotonowaka shows us something special, then all the more reason for him to get here at the end of the year.
He deserves it. So I'm going to throw this out there now, but it's also going to be in written form. I am curious to see who everybody thinks will be the highest performing new Juryo member.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make a guess. I just can't. My
heart
is with Tomokaze. So I'll tell you my wish list versus my prediction. My wish list is for Tomokaze to ascend, because a lot of time has been lost.
It's been way too long. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm it's a nice mix of new and old, a lot more new, and it's also fun to have like you have somebody like Roga and to an extent Kotonowaka. They're just like, oh yeah, they were gonna be here. Just let them run, and then you have like the
surprise
the
ones.
Chura no Umi that you're like, ooh.
Even Ichi Yamamoto complete surprise.
A little bit of a question mark there.
But like, he was in Juryo 7. If he didn't get this Yusho, he's not here.
He's not here. Not without the Yusho. That's how they let him in.
So
it's a lot of excitement. All right, so we mentioned 6 people going up. So that's 6 people down. I'm going to look at them right here. You have Aoyama. You have Koto Shoho. You have Kageyaki. You have Chiyoshoma, unfortunately. All the way down there. Oof.
Yikes. It's going to take him a while to come back.
Daishoho, where did they put him? Oh, my gosh. Yeah. They threw some of these people deep down. Hakuoho we knew about. Takuoho is confirmed to not be in November, so he's going to be unsalaried in January, but then everybody's just going to expect him to just come roaring back like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, he's going to crush. If he's at 100%, he's going to go into the 3rd division, crush it, and he'll be through Juryo very quickly because he was amazing in his top division with a broken shoulder.
With a massive shoulder.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Challenge for the Yusho with a busted shoulder.
We're in
this
a good
dude
spot.
should just clear the house.
Should be.
Why don't we just skip all this and bring him back? Come on.
So for some prospects, we have Shimazu Umi making his move. We have Oshoma, scandal notwithstanding.
Yeah.
Ono Sato.
She's making his.
So here, these are 4 new faces, some of which have considerable momentum or popularity. And when you're in that top 5 in Juryo, that's typically, minus this previous example from September, the over-under point for whether or not you're considered.
Well, and the interesting thing is, if all the new guys perform well, then these guys are stuck. But if all the new guys perform horribly, we're going to do another swap.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take Aoyama. Well, Aoyama can get back in. It's going to take Chiyoshoma a while to come back.
Yeah.
Kageyaki is going to need 2 tournaments, I bet. Because I don't expect either of them to like.
He'll have a bit of a struggle.
Yeah. So
could
have a swap.
I feel bad for Hitoshi because this is the picture they gave him for the Banzukai.
They're like, you're not top tier enough to get a better picture than this.
I feel like
they did him wrong.
This is the typical DMV that you take the picture, you're not ready for it, and you're like, can we take another one? They're like, next.
No.
It's printed. Get out of here.
It's like, why don't you get up a little higher and then we'll let you retake it.
Hope they
jerks.
Hope they fix that for him.
Right?
All right. So that is our 42 and a bit of Juryo and a lot of hope coming into November.
We have the future is here, folks, and it's going to be a wild ride. So, just to do a quick recap for you, this show we're recording on Sunday. It will premiere on Monday. And we will have live streams in the second week, and then we will have a recap show at the end of the tournament, which will appear the Monday after the tournament is over. So there's lots of 42 opinions for you. Look out for some polls, community announcements, etc. And thank you, as always, for joining us. We enjoy having all your comments. Please leave lots of them. And we hope this is a fun one.
It has a lot. Like the wrestlers, November has a lot of pressure on it to be good
every year.
It's always the end of the year, and then also everybody wants something better than after what happened in September.
Yes.
So it's almost November has a little bit more of unfair pressure on it.
Correct.
It feels like that.
So I hope you all enjoy it. I know we're gonna enjoy it no matter what happens. So come with us.
One last thing. Predictions.
Oh. Forget the predictions, and you're putting me on the spot.
Okay. I'll go first. Go
ahead.
So
go ahead.
So I will leave the Ozeki alone.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'm gonna go right for the dark horse. I'm going for Ura.
Whoa.
I want it. I feel like he's ready. And I want to end the year with the most ridiculous pick. I was thinking about this all day today. Who am I going to pick? And it's just like, do I want to go for Hoshoryu? But like, as I said earlier, like, I feel like 2024 is his year. I don't put too much on him. Then I went to Kirishima and I'm like, he's almost ready. I feel like maybe Kirishima takes it. And I went to Takakeisho, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that to you.
Nope. I have already decided myself that we all know I want him to win. I'm not picking him, and not because I don't think he can do it. Just it has to be left alone. So Takakeisho, go gambare, go do it. But I'm going to pick somebody else.
I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe if I pick Takakeisho, then it's not you picking Takakeisho.
True.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like,
it's just not gonna.
No,
it never ends well.
It's a different brand of Takayasu all over again.
Yes.
You can't look at it.
You just can't.
You
can't.
There's
You gotta
a curse
look away.
there. You gotta look away. So then I thought, okay, who doesn't want it? And I want it for them. And then I thought, it's Ura.
So I can't help but make this pick, and it's probably not going to be the pick. But I can't help it.
Okay, tell me.
Asanoyama.
Oh, you're going to do it!
I'm going to do it.
I couldn't. When I heard he got injured, I
even with the injury, I'm like, unless it's really, like, watch him be out on day one, and then we got to, I'll pick somebody else. But injury notwithstanding, he's got the most to prove.
If Asanoyama didn't tear his calf, I would have picked Asanoyama tonight too. But then I heard that, and I'm like, I don't.
That's why I'm like, it's probably a crazy pick because he's probably going to be too injured.
So the both of us are for Megashira 1.
Yes.
The rank and filers.
I feel so, I didn't
ripping
even
ripping it out.
Megashira 1 wins the Yusho. You heard it here first. Of course, we have a terrible record. I don't know if we've ever picked a winner.
We've never picked a winner.
It's been 3 years.
I think we've gotten close. I think also it was one of those, I want this person to win, but then I'm going to pick this other person, and then the other person won.
Yep.
Daieisho was like that for January, I think.
Same with Hoshoryu. I picked somebody else. I think that person got injured. I'm like, okay, so Hoshoryu is my second pick. It doesn't count.
It's now, here and now is what we write down.
Asanoyama and Ura, the riskiest picks I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. And in the back of your mind, you're just like, Maybe.
Come on. So.
I feel like it's very on brand for us to go for the wild picks. We've had our safe picks.
Our safe picks never happen.
It never works. Nothing works for us. So I'm gonna go for broke.
I feel like that's better. Let's have fun with it.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna end the year having fun, and then the both of them together are gonna have like 8 wins.
I know, right? We're gonna jinx them into Juryo.
Oh, the hex. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, anyway, guys, thank you. It's been fun. I know you're all commenting now, even though this is after the fact. So we will be talking to you again soon. Peace.